Okay, welcome everybody. This is the Community Board One. This is our full board meeting for the month. It is Tuesday, March 26th. Just let it know when possible. And we're starting with our public session, and our first speaker is Gerald Forster.
2 minutes? All right?
Yep.
Okay. As an architect, I've worked on a number of historical properties, including some of the largest and some in the largest historic district in the nation. I also support preservation. I also support sustainability and adaptive reuse. I do not support preserving structures that were made to look historic. I felt betrayed to find out that the kiosk on the west side of City Hall Park was built in the 80s. That's 1980s, not 1880s. To me, this amounts to rewriting the history of our urban fabric. Whether it relates in aesthetic context to the park or not, it is not authentic. It is certainly not unique nor iconic. As such, the issue before us this evening is one that brings subjectivity to what is intended by the context in a historic district. More specifically, does a contemporary building belong in a historic district? And does a contemporary structure belong in the City Hall Historic District? The main contextual concern I have is maintaining the existing width of the sidewalk between the structure and the fence for pedestrian use. As to aesthetics, the contemporary art installations in the park are a nice change to the Victorian fabric. Furthermore, kiosks like this can and must be used not only to provide safe means for battery charging, but also to engage and educate the amazing fleet of deliveries that service our neighborhoods. I support a bicycle hub at this location, with the only caveats being that the existing width of the sidewalk be maintained and and exclusively for pedestrian use, and that it is also that it is possible, and that if at all possible, the existing building be repurposed in a contemporary manner. I would also like to advocate that all citywide federally funded programs like this be open to more than one designer by means of competition or RFP, as is normal for public projects. The City Hall Historic District is first and foremost of the people and for the people, and I can't think of a better place to showcase New York City's progressive resilience and adaptability to meet the ever-changing needs of the community it serves. Lastly, and personally, I'm not going to stand in the way of health, safety, and welfare of the public, as well as progress when authentic preservation isn't being threatened. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to our next speaker. And I'm looking to see if there are any hands raised online. If you wish to speak during the public session, please raise your hand.
One person.
Sir, your name, and when you come to introduce yourself, make sure you signed in as well. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Patrick Donovan. I'm the community outreach coordinator for Senator Schumer's office. We've been working on this project for a couple of years now. I will let other folks who are here from Parks speak to some of the details. And you're in great hands with them. But just on the kind of overarching piece, this is really critical for so many delivery workers across the city. It is hard to overstate the difficulty of their work, and it is hard to overstate how needed infrastructure is like this. We've had a total shift in the way we do food delivery in the city over the last couple of years, and regulating it, providing infrastructure for it, I think is going to both make delivery workers' lives better, but also is going to be able to integrate this new mode of work that's on our streets and all around us better into the community. So for that reason, we're really supportive of the project. We want to make sure that it works for the community, and we leave it up to all of you in consultation, obviously with the professionals to work that out. But the senator is has been working on this for a while, and we're really grateful for the collaboration. We know you guys are an open-minded bunch, but we also really appreciate it. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Patrick. Let's move on to strategy. And Patrick and Sarah, please make sure that you sign up online as well, so we have you here correct.
Hi, my name is David Cerrone. I'm an assistant commissioner at NYC Parks, and I'm joined tonight by the Workers' Justice Project, WJP, to discuss our proposed hub for delivery workers along the perimeter sidewalk at City Hall Park. This is an initiative that was announced during the fall of 2022 by Mayor Adams and Senator Schumer. This project is essential for the growing number of New Yorkers using e-micromobility devices, especially for our city's hardworking app delivery workers who provide food, groceries, and medicine for countless New Yorkers. This past weekend, the city was hit with more than 3.5 inches of rain, keeping most New Yorkers stuck inside for all of Saturday. But deliveristas were out in force to deliver food and other essential services. Through inclement weather, air quality warnings, the pandemic, deliveristas have put others first. Yet the delivery workers do not have dedicated locations where they can get brief respite from the elements, where they can safely charge their e-bike batteries, where they can charge their cell phones, repair their bikes, or receive educational materials, or maybe just sit down and take a rest for a few minutes. The proposed Deliverista Hub will provide these critical services, not only for the delivery workers, but for all New Yorkers. The hubs will also be fully staffed during peak delivery hours by WJP. We're proposing this site on the perimeter of City Hall Park because it's a central location to their delivery routes. And there is city infrastructure, a former newsstand with existing electrical connections that no longer serve another purpose. The former newsstand building is from the 1980s. It's not historical to City Hall Park, and it's not an individual landmark. And its existing electrical is perfect to support battery charging needs for this hub. We've worked closely with Fantastica on the design of this hub with the support of City Hall and DOT. The material palette and design of this hub are intentionally simple and dark in color so that it will read as a modern structure that won't detract from the historic district or City Hall Park, but rather blend with the existing street furniture. Our delivery workers have spoken loud and clear in support of this hub, and we hope that you will support it too. It's critical for us as a city not to just say we support the delivery workers, but to follow through in that support by providing this essential infrastructure that is going to benefit them and benefit New Yorkers. We thank you, the community board, for taking our application into consideration, and we look forward to working with you throughout this approval process and during the hub's operation.
Right, anybody else with their hands up to speak? Please make sure again that you've signed in online, 2 minutes to speak. And then I have Christine Skeely, who is online, will be next.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Alejandro Grajales, and I have been working as delivery worker for more than 8 years and work through all out Manhattan, including this neighborhood. I'm a member of the Workers' Justice Project and the Deliveristas Unidos. During the past 8 years, and I have witnessed how many of us have been pushed transition to e-bikes to be able to meet brutal schedules and travel long distances. So we can continue to deliver your food, your groceries, and your medicine. As we organize to make this job safer, we need a dignified space to charge our batteries and get connected with essential information to stay safe on the road. The Deliveristas Hub is necessary for many of us. We hope to get your support for this vision. We are hoping to partner with communities like you. The Deliveristas Hub means the ability to charge my battery and stay informed about my rights and be connected with resources. We have a unique opportunity to show how communities can stand together to make this city work for all. We look forward to working with you all to make possible the first Deliverista Hub in the nation. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
Okay, we have Christine Steele. I apologize if I butchered that online. If somebody could request of you.
Got one more.
Okay.
You are unmuted, Christine.
Support of- Can you hear me? I'm in full support of making a safe recharge, rest, repair station for that, that the Workers' Justice Project is supporting.
Christine, your mic is open, but we cannot hear you.
Oh. How is that? Is that any better?
Your hand is up. If you'd like to speak, apologies. All right, in the meanwhile, we'll take the gentleman in the room. Thank you so much. Please make sure you sign in.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gustavo. I'm a delivery worker. So I work in this neighborhood for a long time, and thank you for the opportunity to give us. Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. It's good now? Okay, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gustavo. I'm a delivery worker. I worked in this neighborhood for a long time, and thank you for the opportunity that you gave us to share our dream and our, this delivery hub. It's a main goal for us because, as you know, I know a lot of faces from here now. I think because you live in the neighborhood, so as you know, in this neighborhood, it's not that like a lot of bike shop. There is not, mechanics. So sometimes it's really hard for us when we get a flat in this neighborhood. We have to go all the way down to Canal Street or Chinatown. So I think this delivery hub is gonna be such really cover the needs that we have. And I know that there is a lot of concern in the community that the delivery workers, they jump in the street, they doing things that's not right. But that's our main goal, bring solutions to the community, bring solutions to the workers too. So I hope we come with support, and then we want to keep going, and we work with this, with you guys, and with the city together. Thank you.
So I just need to go through the names of the signing Alejandro. You spoke, yes? So first gentleman, thank you so much. Tennessee. Is Tennessee in the room so to speak? Okay. No, Tennessee, moving on. Manuela. Manuela, okay. April Hearns.
Nope.
Moving on,
But then, we're not able to hear people on the line or log in now.
we will, if you look at the right coordinates. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh,
However,
but you're calling people.
let's go back to Christine. You're online, we're gonna try and switch over the speakers for you. Christine, if your hand is like to speak again, please put your hand back up. And apologies for the break. Christine, your hand is up, I'll send you a request. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I fully support what the Workers' Justice Project is trying to accomplish. But what I would hope is that there's some allocation from Schumer's office in the city to increase bike safety, e-bike safety for pedestrians. If we're going to be encouraging them and accepting that this is here to stay, maybe there's dedicated e-bike lanes when we're trying to reduce congestion of cars in the city, because it's pretty dangerous walking on the sidewalk in New York right now. I mean, there are a lot of e-bikes driving around, seems to be relatively unregulated. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Is anyone else online or by phone would like to speak? Please raise your hand.
Can you hear me? Oh. Oh, thank you. Can you all see me? So good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to have us and speak today about the Deliverista Hub. My name is Ligia Hualpa, and I'm the Executive Director of the Workers' Justice Project, a worker center that has been organizing low-wage workers across New York City to make sure workers know their rights and organize and demand safety and dignity on the job. For the past 3 years, we've been organizing out delivery workers who have been serving New Yorkers, especially in this neighborhood during critical time like COVID-19, making sure every New Yorker has the ability to stay safe at home with food, with medicine, with groceries during the most difficult time that we experienced during COVID-19. The Deliveristas have given it all. Even the Deliveristas have died while doing this job. doing one of the jobs that we consider one of the most dangerous jobs. Over the last 4 years, 3 years, there's been more than 30 deliveristas that have died on the road doing this job, serving New Yorkers. There's been deliveristas who have been struggling to make a minimum wage. And yes, we were able to win basic labor protections, but it's still not enough. As many deliveristas continue to do one of the jobs that is not only one of the most dangerous, it's very expensive because they have to incur all the operating costs. As they continue to make sure New York City protects them against these greedy corporations, they're trying to make sure the roads and the streets meet their needs as well. And we here today, we have a unique opportunity for this community board, for this neighborhood, to say, to accept the labor and embrace this community the same way you accept their labor, by ordering online and accepting their labor every time they are at the door delivering the food. The best way to recognize them as essential workers, the best way to give them some dignity is by offering the opportunity to share our streets, to create a dignified infrastructure. And we're here again. Actually, the deliveristas that came today, they stopped the work shift to make sure they're here with you today, to say this is a unique opportunity. Yes, we're going to shift the newsstand that existed historically. Yes, they're probably readjusting as well to the continuously ongoing infrastructure changes that are happening in the city. What we're here to ask is an opportunity to partner, an opportunity to embrace and accept the labor of the deliveristas with dignity. We hope to have your support for the first deliverista hub in the nation. Thank you.
Okay, last speaker is Atlas Blank.
I appreciate everyone that came ahead of me and my on. Okay, I just want to say there are a few here that tonight who would oppose the very laudable goal of instituting battery charging stations in public places in support of the city's critically needed delivery workers. Let us be clear. I would, however, like to remind this board that it is not the value of these stations or the workers that is being voted on here tonight. Rather, the purpose of the discussion tonight is whether this particular proposed 300 square foot building that you've seen is appropriate at the proposed location in front of City Hall Park. That is all we are asking, not to evaluate the obvious merits of the need. To this point, the existing building at the site, built in the 1980s, is in good condition and could, without question, and I am an architect, be adaptively reused for battery storage and seating. The existing kiosk was designed to match the existing historic fencing, benches, and subway stanchions, and the other kiosks at City Hall. There is absolutely no reason to tear down the existing kiosk, which matches the existing historic context and City Hall furnishings, and replace it with a building that is 33% larger, taking over 30% of critically needed 30% more critically needed sidewalk space in this highly trafficked area. Currently, the city has launched a pilot program featuring small battery lockers that could easily be fit into the existing newsstands at City Hall and elsewhere, inclusive of seating area for workers. If the city wants to advantage itself of the federal money and utilize this proposed modular building, that it should be located somewhere in the city where there is no existing usable structure that can be adaptively reused. Our electeds often give lip service to the need to adaptively reuse our existing buildings whenever possible. Our community may be best served in reusing the existing kiosk, matching its City Hall furnishings or not, if we find a contemporary version, and to avoid employing a much larger structure on a very heavily trafficked area. So thank you.
And with that, we close our public session. And it is 6:52. The public hearing is about the New York State for year 2025 proposed budget. Looking online, I do not see anyone who has looking at the responses about the budget. I do not see anyone who has signed in for that either. So we will open and close. Just note that we do have a resolution on the state budget. We have two topics that we are opening on today. So rather than reviewing it in the public session, we'll review it during the business session. With that, I close the public hearing at 6:52. Open the business session, which we start for those members of the public who are here. The business session is for board members only. We do ask if applicants or representatives are here for a topic that we are discussing, we need to be called on, so please stay in if you can. And we start with the adoption of the February 2024 minutes. I'll give it to me as our secretary to do roll call, which also works for your attendance.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Anne Russo. Blaine. Here. Yes. Brown Kennedy. Thank you. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell. Cassell, yes. Thank you. Chang.
Chang, yes.
Thank you. Chapman. Yes. Thank you. Chair Gooding. Cole.
No, it's just.
Coleman.
Yes.
Thank you. Foreman. Okay. Good job. Good job. That's super.
Yeah, I vote yes for the minute, sorry.
Thanks. Thank you. Urban. You're on. Can you unmute to vote, please? Wolf, Flores.
Flores, yes.
Thanks. Flynn, yes. Bordeberg.
Forsberg, yeah.
Thanks. Friedman.
Friedman, yes.
Thank you. Roman. Thank you. Galloway.
Galloway, yes.
Thank you. Goldstein.
Yes.
Goldstein,
yes.
For
Hang on a second. I'll
board members who are online to vote again.
Okay. I'm gonna come back. Good guy. Thank you. Grayson.
Grayson, yes.
Thank you. James. Okay. Joyce. Judy. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Lerner.
Lerner, yes.
Thank you. Levinson. Thank you. Lynn.
Yes.
Thank you. Lyon.
Lyon, yes.
Thank you. Meltzer.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hensley. Hensley, yes. Thanks. Warren.
Yes.
Thank you. Edia. Portia Corey.
Maria.
Thank you.
Did you hear me?
Robinson.
Robinson.
Shear.
Yeah.
Thank you. Harrison. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thompson.
Sally.
Thank you. Townley. You.
Yes.
Thank you. Salter.
Self, yes.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna do online now. Okay. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Capel,
Opel, yes.
Canal,
Canal, yes.
Pandaya. You must
Yes.
unmute.
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
Yeah, do it one more time. Camera.
Camera on, Ushma, I'm so sorry, but we don't make the rules. So,
Yeah, can you see me?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
thank you very, appreciate that. Alrighty, with that, the minutes pass and we're gonna start with okay. We're gonna start with Tevin Williams from Congressman Goldman. After that, we're coming to the identifiers from Senator Kavanaugh, and after that, Lori Reed and Assembly Member Blitz. So we can select one, you don't need to.
We love it. Efficient meeting. Good evening, everyone. Kevin Williams from Congressman Dan Goldman's office. I'll be very brief. First and foremost, I wanted to say the congressman has joined Borough President Mark Levine and also Antonio Reynoso to include expanded free bus pilot in the state budget. This is from both the congressman and both borough presidents asking for $90 million in funding to the MPTA with what's coming out with the Central Business District in terms of congestion pricing. And we were trying to fight for the communities that we serve, including Lower Manhattan and also the Brooklyn waterfront. So you can read more about that in the report. Next, I know resiliency is a big topic in Lower Manhattan, and the congressman has joined Congressman Nadler and seven other fellow members of the congressional delegation, writing a letter to FEMA asking for $117 million in funding to the Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities and Flood Mitigation Assistance Grant programs. So you'll see more about that coming soon. And then last thing on the district front, if anyone knows a high school student that is interested in submitting something to the Congressional Art Competition, we are taking submissions right now. So if you know anyone, please look in the board report to contact us. And then finally, on the DC front, the congressman held a virtual roundtable on reproductive freedom, joined by multiple people from Planned Parenthood. And then this is ahead of the US Supreme Court of the FDA versus the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine. And the last thing I want to say is the congressman just recently introduced a bill to make Election Day a federal holiday. As everyone knows, 26% of Americans don't vote because they are too busy or too obligated to work or school. Any questions for me? I'm happy to take them, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, if you are online, please put your hand up if you have a question for the congressman in the room, any board members.
Thank you so much, everyone. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Dan Byers, Senator Kavanaugh's office here. Budget season, so he's been super busy trying to get a comprehensive housing package in the Senate budget, of which me and our housing director, committee director, Hallie, spoke with the community board about last week, and I think you are going to be voting on a resolution, kind of broadly outlining what we talked about, so I'm really excited to stick around for that. Also happy to talk about later if you want to know more details about the package, but that's been occupying a lot of his time. Here in the community, we have been working with OCM and the community boards to try to resolve some issues going on. We hosted a meeting a couple of weeks ago with community boards and OCM. We've been working hard to address issues going on with the Manhattan Borough-based jail as well, working with community stakeholders as well as the community board to kind of see that through and address issues. And I think that's all that I have for right now. I want to keep it brief for your guys' sake. I'm happy to take any questions.
Nothing.
Questions in the room?
No.
I can't believe this.
Not tonight. Nice special night.
Don't say it out loud though.
Let's keep it rolling, Chair, please.
On top of
No, don't say Jason. Don't say that, no.
Okay. There are seeing no hands up online. Let's move to our next representative, Roy Wolf.
Thank
Thank you, Roy Ruiz, Assemblymember Deborah Beck. It's not too late. I would like to acknowledge all of you women for Women's History Month.
That's excellent.
Nice.
Women's History Month, sorry. Women's History Month.
Women's History Month. The women in the room. We are still passing the budget. This week is supposed to be the week that we have some sort of resolution on that. And if we don't this week, it'll be next week probably. So hopefully so. So there's that. And one of the biggest things that have happened this past couple of weeks was our interactions with Mount Sinai and the rally that we held this Sunday. That was a pretty big rally. A lot of elected officials from Manhattan, some from Brooklyn showed up. And we're all very concerned about what's going to happen with Beth Israel. We've been meeting with the leadership at Beth Israel, and we met with the Department of Health and the governor's office. And, you know, I don't know if you all saw the article from this morning from Political too, about, you know, DOH doing a survey on Mount Sinai and identifying that they had in fact closed some units. So that is still part of our discussions with DOH. And so, you know, I welcome anybody who wants more information to always reach out to me and give you my information whenever I'll be sitting here and I'll be waiting for later items. So, thank you. Any questions? Concerns? Okay.
Everybody, thanks so much. I see no hands online, hands in the room, that were super fast. Looking to see if I have people from Assemblymember Lee, office I may have missed, or Assemblymember Paul. Yep. Okay, so let's move on to Christian.
I am with Assemblymember Lee online. If it's possible to give some updates.
Not seeing online, let's move to Andrew Chang from the Borough President's Office, and then Max from Councilmember Markey's office, and then Alexander is here, right?
Yes, I am here.
Let's get you, give us 1 second, we'll get you all set online.
Sure, thank you.
All set? Okay, Alexander, feel free to unmute yourself and welcome. Sorry about that.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to give remarks on behalf of Assemblymember Grace Lee. Obviously, she has been really busy. As you all know, it is the process of negotiating for the budget right now. She's been really busy meeting with advocates and really trying to advocate for the best budget that ensures our community gets as much resources as possible. It's looking like it probably won't get passed this week. And we believe that we want to make sure that a housing package can be done in the budget, and we only would support one that actually has truly affordable units available. In regards to some legislation we're working on, I can just go through a few. I think in the past, I've talked about our Hate Crimes Modernization Act, which relates to facilitating the prosecution of hate crimes. And establishes the crimes of bias harassment in the first and second degrees. We've also been really working on a mobile banking app, which will mandate the acceptance of New York City identity cards as the primary form of identification, just to make sure that it's easier to and safer to send money online, because that's something we've heard a lot from residents and also constituents and in our conversations with the DA's office in Manhattan. In the district, we've been participating in recent conversations surrounding the closure of Mount Sinai Beth Israel, and have been working with the DOH and Mount Sinai and advocates and community advocates to get the best deal possibly for our community. And we do support the hospital closure bill to mandate community input, which we were able to attend the press conference for last Wednesday. We've also been working with the other elected offices to ensure that the demolition of the Chinatown jail is done in a way that dignifies and respects the community members who are most affected by such a demolition. And we're also, heavily invested in making sure that there's transparency with that. And I'll definitely, keep updating everyone on that as new updates come about. So if there's any other questions, obviously I put my information in the chat and I'll be here to take questions remotely as well.
Okay, do I have anybody in the room who has questions for Alexander? Seeing none, let's look online, see if there's anybody who has any questions online. Seeing no hands up for questions online, thank you very much, Alexander. Sorry, we almost skipped you on that one, and let's move to Andrew Chang. Andrew is also online.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes. Yes, welcome.
Hi, Tammy and everybody. Thanks for having me here. Andrew Chang from the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I just want to say, announce a couple of things. First off, for those community board members who reapplied this year, I sent an email to everybody. Thank you for going through the interview sessions. If you missed your interview session for whatever reason, please let me know as soon as possible. And we hope to make decisions by the end of this month, early May. Secondly, thank you to those who attended the State of the Borough that was held on March 3rd in the Upper East Side at Hunter College. We have a recording of the entire Borough President's speech on the website. Feel free to watch it there. And also, we're having free tax prep workshops at the Northern Manhattan office during the week. This is for folks who qualify under a certain income. If you're interested, please let me know. And then lastly, I want to say is that the Borough President announced to he, along with other elected officials, called for the removal of the 12 FAR cap to allow for more and greater residential development in Manhattan and across New York City. As you all may know, the cap was instituted decades ago by Albany, and he and other elected officials feel that we can have more affordable housing if this cap was repealed. You can find more information about the 12 FAR cap removal on our website at manhattanbp.nyc.gov. And I also want to introduce our acting director of community affairs, Eric Cueto, who's on his call right now.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I want to introduce Eric Cueto, our acting director of community affairs.
Where is Eric? Well, I think he might be in the attendee section. Oh, there he is.
Hi, everybody. Just very quickly wanted to say hello. For those who aren't aware, Tricia Shimamura, who was the director of community affairs, has now moved on to an amazing new opportunity. She is the Manhattan Borough Commissioner for Parks, which is probably quite literally her dream job. She is an avid park goer and loves all things parks, so very happy for her. Parks gain our loss. However, I was the deputy director in the unit. I'm now the acting director, so please, I'll make sure to share my information in the chat. If anybody needs anything, please do reach out to me. I've been working with the board for a while. I've been working with Tammy. It's been great. So looking forward to getting to know everyone a little bit more. So thank you.
Awesome. Eric, make sure you send it to Zach and Lucy and they can update our contact list. So
absolutely,
as they need. All righty, well, welcome aboard, Eric. Although I hate to say you've been here with us, so it's not that far of a run, as I say. Andrew, you all good then?
Thank you. That concludes my report for this evening. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to switch back to in-room, where we have Max from Councilmember Marquez's office.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Stoich from Councilmember Martin's office. So just to start with the budget, first, the council member has been very vocal at rallies, and the city council has started their preliminary budget hearings for this year, advocating against the cuts to things like community composting, libraries. So, we'll see in the coming months, once the official budget hearings start, where the administration is going with those. And also on budget, so participatory budgeting, which is the program that allows people in the district to vote for projects in the district. We have $1 million allocated. So we have about seven projects that people will be able to vote on. Voting will be from April 6th to 14th. We'll be both doing tabling around the district. So we'll be having pop-up events all over. And then we'll also have an online option for people just to be able to vote online. If you sign up for our newsletter, follow the council member on social media, we'll have more information on where we'll be tabling and how to access the online voting form. Then, as some of the other elected officials, representatives have mentioned, we've been vocal, or meeting with the governor's office, the State Department of Health, and other community members trying to stop the closure of Mount Sinai Beth Israel. Because one thing I just want to highlight is that, right, even though Beth Israel might be, or Mount Sinai might be, 14th Street, East Village, if that closes, it likely means a huge influx of downtown residents who are going to have to go to Presbyterian here, which might then overcrowd that hospital. So it really will impact the whole downtown if this hospital closes. On more community side, the council member had his inaugural Coffee with Your Council Member event 2 weeks ago. It was a huge success. This is a way for just the council member will sit at a cafe for an hour or two, and just anyone can come in and talk to him. And so we'll actually be having our second Coffee with Your Council Member next Wednesday, April 3rd, from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. at Art Bean Coffee. That's at 19 Doyer Street. If you want to get, we'll probably follow us on social media or the newsletter or call our office to get that written down somewhere so you can have that. And we plan to do this all throughout the district. And so, we'll be having likely more in the community board one area, but I know the first one, a lot of people who live in the community district one went to Lower East Side Chinatown for that Coffee with the council member. So it is open to everyone, no matter where in the district that you live. And then we also, last night, organized a meeting with community members and residents of Independence Plaza about the proposed tower there. And was a call to action and a way to get community members organized to fight the tower. And if people want to get more involved with the fight against the tower, reach out to our office. We'll connect you with other organizers. And then, as you likely heard, there were cracks in the wall of the Chung Pak Senior Center right next to the demolition site of the Manhattan Borough Base Trail. And so the council member was able to get a partial stop work order for that as soon as we found out. He held a press conference with our other elected officials and community members, specifically calling for an independent monitor of the project. And the council member has been meeting with the DEC commissioner about this independent monitor, really pushing to get this monitor over the project. And then lastly, as you may have seen, one of our top priority on legislation is the bill ending the 24-hour workday for home attendants. I've probably spoken about it almost every time I've been here. So this past week, the home attendants went on hunger strike for 5 days outside City Hall. I know a lot of people here were there. It was a huge success. They got press in AM New York and New York Times and New York Magazine, CBS. So the energy is really, 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 really great and really energizing people to push the speaker to bring the No More 24 Act to a vote. And so the organizers will be flyering for the next month, 3 days a week outside City Hall. If anyone's interested in flyering and helping out, reach out to our office, and we will be having a May Day rally outside City Hall on May 1st, again, calling for the speaker to bring the bill to a vote. And so, yeah, feel free to reach out to our office if you're interested in learning more about that. And yeah, with that, I'll take any questions. Cool. Thank you.
Bravo.
Next, we're gonna switch to Curtis Young from the Public Advocate's Office, who's online. So just give us 1 second, Curtis, to switch you over and then unmic.
I'm here. Hello, everyone. Greetings from the Office of the Public Advocate. Let me start off by saying happy Women's History Month, happy Ramadan Kareem, and soon to be Easter and Holy Week for all those who are celebrating. I'll be brief today. I'm filling in for my colleague Lupe Hernandez, who's on vacation. But just a few policy updates. The Public Advocate recently released a review of the responses to the arrival of migrants in the city from all levels of government, including our office. You can view more on that by visiting our website. The council also recently held a hearing on the Public Advocate's bill to prohibit discrimination in issuing credit and mandate transparency in the process. The bill could help hundreds of thousands of people apply for mortgages and small business loans in our city. So that's great news. You can follow along also by visiting our website and also the council's website on upcoming acts on the policy. Tomorrow we are celebrating Trans Day of Visibility. It's an open event. I will put the information in the chat box if anyone is interested in joining us. And as with each month, we host a Ask the Advocate series on News 12. The next Ask the Advocate is held the fourth Monday of April from 7 to 7:30. It's an opportunity for you to call in to pose questions to the Public Advocate directly. And let's see what else. Also on Thursday this week, we are celebrating Ramadan by hosting our annual Ramadan Iftar event at 31 Chambers Street. And that is once again also open to the public. So thank you all for your time. I will put all the information in the chat box in case you want to join us for anything upcoming. Thank you very much.
So no hands through and no hands online, so I appreciate all of that on the reports. And with that, we're going to close out the updates from our elected officials. I will note for the record that Peter Say was here from the district attorney's office, and Christian was here from the mayor's office. Both of them are doing double duty with two community boards in Florida and have the full board study. So they both went to the other meeting. Timing is everything. All right, so with that, let's close out the reports from the elected officials, and we're going to start with Zab.
All right, slides. Thank you, everyone. This will be the last full board that we have here. Next month, we're going to be back in the Borough President's office on 19. So all of our tech issues will get solved. I don't have my computer today, so I'm gonna have to look at the screen. My computer is doing double tech duty. Oh, here's the other one. Okay, so the students at PS 150 who came to advocate for better pedestrian safety around their school, the office celebrated them with certificates. Thank you, Rosa, for helping support that, get their names, and Lucy, who put together some certificates for them. They were very excited to get those. So helping nourish young advocates in Lower Manhattan. Go ahead, next slide. The community boards meet together once a month online, and MEND NYC, which is under the Office of Nightlife, presented to us, and they offer mediation for businesses and neighbors. It's free mediation, and it's sort of another tool that can be used to help neighbors interact with businesses, and often nightlife businesses or restaurants. So if you need to request mediation, you can reach out to me and I could set it up, or you can do it. Anyone can do it themselves online. Elected officials can do it as well. Next slide. Okay, so scheduling changes for April. As I said, full board is moved back to 19. It will be on Tuesday, April 30th. That is a week after it usually is. Waterfront and Environmental Committee switched. Waterfront's on Monday the 15th and EPC is Tuesday the 16th. Next slide. And We had a report from the American Heart Association walk and run, and they gave us their route. If you need to look at that, feel free. I don't think I have anything more to say on that. That's great. Oh, that was on me. I was like, I didn't see that slide. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the chair report. Hot off the presses is a lovely photo. That nice sign just went up on Church Street. And it is basically designed for everybody to share the road. A nice reminder that you have bicyclists in the city and pedestrians. So it is, can't see it.
No,
that clearly. It says, beware of bikes, share the road. So it's, again, by the crosswalk, so we ask the bicyclists to be aware of pedestrians. It's been a busy month, and we have a lot of fun stuff ahead of us, so next slide. There you go. China Institute Gallery that is home-based in Lower Manhattan on Washington Street has a brand new exhibit that's up. There are the hours. If anyone hasn't been there, it's really spectacular. The Shang Shui reboot is a Bureau correct me. It really is an amazing, a lot of the art includes both video and hand-drawn, so it's something that you could really enjoy. It's just a fantastic space. And next slide. Upcoming session, City of Yes. We have housing coming to us soon for land use. I anticipate will be as complicated as the economic opportunity, which had 18 proposals. So there are two new sessions coming up, March 27th, focused on missing, middle housing types. And then the whole proposal on April 17th. I cannot ask you often or early enough to try and get yourselves educated on it. Next slide. All right, rule changes. If you've never known, you can sign up to be notified and get a weekly update on rule changes. I highly suggest you do because, for example, Landmarks Preservation is proposing a rule change that came out after the Landmarks meeting this month and will be done with public comments before we have full board in April. So there's no opportunity for us as a board to review necessarily or comment on rule change. I'm sharing it here so you can read the details online and comment on your own. We will try and catch up, but I encourage at base minimum all the chairs of all the committees to sign up to the New York City rule changes email so you can see what may pertain to you. If you need help finding that list, please email the office. We'll be happy to get that to you. Okay, next slide. Today is Live Long and Prosper Day. So I wish you live long and prosper, and I thank Betty for her slide from the end of transportation, which is a happy Easter and a happy Passover. It couldn't have been more joyous and more fantastic of a slide. And with that, in the essence of time, I'm always here. We're going to go back to chair chats with the weather being warm. I'll be sitting at a coffee shop in the neighborhood. You want me in your neighborhood on a Friday? Let me know. And you come and we'll talk anything and everything local community board, which can include everything from the fantastic media that our board has been getting lately. No, it's pasta. It's not chocolate chip, it's pasta. There's a lot of great things to say about the board. We have a lot of great challenges ahead of us, a lot of great opportunities for improvement. So let's get working. Next slide. Lucy.
I can't reach up there. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. My 20th election, so let's get with this. Good evening, nominating committee report. Susan Cole, Francis Curtis, Jeff Galloway, Betty Kay, Elizabeth Lewinsky, either nominated themselves or were nominated. At this time, I will ask if there are any further nominations for the pool. With that being said, With that being said, no nominations off the floor, the slate is now closed. Meeting, I ask, as secretary, please cast one vote for the entire slate for approval as presented.
Yes.
Good job. Amen. Same script of the last 20 years. Amen. Next week, to all the members, to all the board members indicating the next steps on the election process. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Next slide. Okay, Chinatown Connections. This was, we had a great presentation from EDC, which was accompanied by the Parks Department and DOT, who were all with them in the room. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you watch the video, that would be fantastic. We went over the ads. Does anybody have any questions on this presentation? Okay, do I have? Pardon?
Any comments at this point?
Questions, comments, whatever you like, Betty. Oh,
There's the mic.
I'm very concerned. This resolution is really based on the conversation. It's mostly done by people who live in the city of Grady District. First of all, I'm sure they have very good points. They also have their own resolutions and their own community. Second of all, I'm really concerned that there's some comments that I think are way overstated or required, such as very strong support. And nobody in our, as long as I have been on community board one, there's never been a vote on cause determining we're not returning anything about the park road. So make this sort of statement is a gross mistake at this point. We have not discussed as a community board in this very time. And the points that are so schemed for so many parties around him, and it's so biased. That it really is a question of who does want that and why are we exploring what makes the best sense? Why is the whole traffic so geared towards cars? Some of the other comments too that I was just asked about the impact on bicycles and pedestrians. But the traffic study was implying too much was looking at cars and really moving fast enough to really being blocked and was happening to them. And that was what he said. Vulnerable users. Not exactly the spirit which is on, and that was, please look at the effect of having cars on bicycles and walkways of municipal.
Are you making a motion to work on that?
Start, it's so extreme. If you want to change everything is biased towards cars, I think it's a big discussion for us to lead. Okay. Well, then they say no.
Hey, Duffy, do me a favor, guys, if you want to talk, let's do Peter, come pop up, come over, say your piece, and that way we can just kind of keep going.
Go quicker. No, I mean, I'm happy to suggest, consider the impacts on most vulnerable and make a suggestion to say, consider the impacts on pedestrians and cyclists, people who are, abled and disabled or whatever the proper phrase is, instead of vulnerable.
That
More careful.
it was already, that part's already in there, because if you read it, on the side of impacts on the most vulnerable, if it's easier to say impacts of vehicular traffic, which is what Betty was talking about, that's fine, because if you notice, where it says the neighborhood context of the strategy includes circulation patterns for pedestrians, bikes, and transit.
Got it.
That's all it said. It omitted any kind of cars, vehicular traffic, emergency vehicles.
Okay.
It's just, it was just, they have one, it was just that they were included.
That's fine.
So it's kind of have balance.
That makes sense, but that would be my consideration.
Okay, I got the, consider the impacts of vehicular traffic on the most vulnerable. That takes care of that. Okay, thank you. Jess, you're next.
Yeah, so there's some stuff in here that I think is good. I would go even farther than Betty. I think Park Row is a very unique opportunity to sort of reimagine this whole space and turn it into something unique that is beneficial for pedestrians, bikers, local businesses, not just something that's another thoroughfare for cars. I think we should gear our advocacy towards that entirely. And that's what I would do. I'll be voting no on this particular resolution.
You know, this is for a traffic study to take a look at that, and so if you're voting no on this, you're voting no on the Chinatown Connections Plan, which includes a traffic study to evaluate keeping Park Row fully closed or open and how to improve it. So I'm a little confused why to vote no when it's looking at everything and the potential could very well be that there is absolutely no traffic coming back.
That's true, but I would advocate
But we're not there yet. We need the data. It's all about the data. Rosa.
Okay, sorry. A lot shorter than the last speaker. So a couple of thoughts. Number one, so a lot of this discussion actually centers around the $4 million that, we were a Park Row awardee of. We co-applied with Park Row Alliance for the New York State Chinatown Downtown Revitalization Initiative. It was a $20 million pot, and we won $4 million of that pot for revitalization of Park Row. We actually presented to Community Board at Waterfront Parks and Culture and got a resolution in support, which was really awesome. And part of that resolution, just so you guys know, actually said that we supported the 2009 plan and that we specifically recognized that due to considerations of Park Row and the sensitivity of the location, we did not advocate for the opening of this space to cars. So that was just in 2022 when we originally applied to get this grant, which we did get. And we were all in support of that, by the way, which is awesome. And then this text is reading differently. When we were at executive and when we had this discussion, one of the things that we discussed was that we would really we don't have a sidewalk that continues and connects from Frankfurt Street into Chinatown. At the very least, before we consider making space or using the space that we have for cars, we should consider prioritizing building a sidewalk so that people can actually walk from one intersection to the other without getting run over by bicyclists, most of them electrified and going at high speed, in two directions. Because, by the way, there's also no curb cut to even get down from the sidewalk as it slivers into nothingness to get into the two-way bike lane so that you can get run over on your way in either direction. So I would strongly advocate that we at least modify this text to recognize that the sidewalk is not a negotiable or a maybe or a study, but the sidewalk must be done before we do any other allocation of that space because we don't have one. And by the way, the reason why we don't have one is because when the street was open to vehicles, it was only open to vehicles. There were no bicycle lanes and there were no people.
It says it right here. CBO requested the Park Row Civic, which is the part that they're doing immediately.
Yeah.
Add more trees and improve lighting on all of the street and Brooklyn Bridge steps and widen the sidewalks and remove all the placard and lighting berm.
Widen the sidewalks doesn't mean create sidewalk. There's literally no sidewalk in the pinch point section. So it's not widening the sidewalk, it's actually creating a sidewalk.
Just an add.
So you want to add and widen. So add where it doesn't exist and widen where it is.
Yes.
Next.
Okay. Then the other thing is, I don't understand why we are, I do understand that some people do not want to look at the 2009 plan at the base layer. But I actually think we already all voted in 2022 to specifically look at the 2009 plan as a base layer.
Yeah. I understand your advocacy point at that point.
Yeah.
And in the room, it was voted differently, so if you don't want to vote for this is absolutely up to you, I get it.
Yeah.
But not everyone agrees. In 2009,
yeah,
this board is on record, and you can look at the resolution that was circulating, that did not say close Park Row permanently. And so is the difference between a permanent closing and an improvement, and that's what this study is supposed to look at. This study is supposed to solve that for all of the communities. And the robust engagement that goes with that. This study is supposed to study current conditions 18 years later, so we know for the next 50 years what's happening. So let's not argue about whether it's open or closed today, just let them do the study, let's figure it out, figure out how all of the forms of transportation, plus all of the commercial and business needs, and the tourist needs, and the needs for outdoor dining, and the removal of commercial parking for loading and load out, for new forms of commercial living, cargo bikes, and other micro forms of transit that may be coming, all fit. Let's stop arguing over one thing and let's have them come back to us with a current study. That's what this is about, is let's. Period. Next. Eric.
Yeah, hi. I support this resolution because, and for the items identified in here, because the presentation provided by the DOT and EDC was actually, it was predisposed towards only bicyclists and pedestrians. It did not assume other modes of transportation. These other points identified in the study need to be more comprehensive and more encompassing. For example, not just assume the summer as the tape your data points. It has to be expanded to the autumn, perhaps after congestion pricing is implemented, as well as to take into account school kids and a more normal schedule for most residents and businesses during the school year. And also the presentation it was predisposed to assume that Park Row would remain closed to traffic. And so this study, we need to remind them that they need to consider all modes of transportation, not just a few of them. So I support this resolution.
Okay, but you gotta come up here or you gotta get a mic handed. It's faster if you come up here.
I just have a question.
Yeah, perfect.
Shout it.
Shout a question.
Well, the third whereas, where we're talking about, the fourth whereas, 18 years and the no future progress living, but not limited to the impacts. Yes, the president. What exactly are these impacts Mr. President would figure in this?
Congestion pricing may lower the car counts and truck counts. Congestion pricing based on what they've said, environmental impact is due to increased traffic just north of the Brooklyn Bridge. And how that will affect the streets around Chinatown is going to be an important aspect. And so what they need to study, the reason why we asked them to wait until congestion pricing is implemented is we want to know how that's going to affect the streets coming off the Brooklyn Bridge, because the EIS has already stated that it would increase the traffic over what is existing today.
So there's an assumption that folks in the zone, are staying in the congestion zone would use.
There's no assumption made. It's just that they need to look at the effects of congestion pricing. And what congestion pricing in itself has already indicated is that they anticipate the congestion pricing environmental impact statement said that it would create more traffic north of the Brooklyn Bridge and from the exits off the Brooklyn Bridge, which is part of this area of study, which is why we are asking for them to at least give it some portion of time during congestion pricing, so we actually know. We may need wider bike lanes, wider sidewalks, we may need to reroute traffic, we may need to figure out different ways that they need to study once congestion pricing is in and the patterns are set. Because of
some of the bike lanes are also going to be redirected to that over the next undetermined amount of time. So that will also have an impact on the study. So it might not be really, it's the best one thing.
It's, you just have to. Nope. Maybe some very indulgent. Nobody hears.
Online?
Nope, I gotta hand on the spray. Sorry. Bruce,
Yes.
and you're the last, and then we will go.
First of all, Tim, I just want to say, I don't know if it's my end or the other end, but it's very sketchy, the IT. It does go in and out and in and out. Is it just me or is it everyone online experiencing that?
You're doing, you look great, Bruce. Let's go.
No, it's not the video, it's the audio. But anyway, I just want to say, I know this is about congestion pricing specifically, but it certainly enters into the conversation. And I am, stop syncing. Well, anyway, I am all for congestion pricing. I've adjusted to it. But I do want to say that almost half of New York City residents are against it. And I'm concerned that it is another example of we liberals in our echo chamber dictating to the working people who are the engine of this city what is best for them when they themselves, half of them are against it. That's all.
Yes, but you know, I have never seen that.
You'll have to repeat that.
Nope, question has been called, Justine and from Brendan, I think.
And I said-
Seconded by Justine, so first, seconded. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so. Here we go, we're gonna go by a vote of affirmation. If you were not counted in the first vote, we're gonna do all online after we do in the room to allow us to switch, audio. If you are online, please make sure your camera is on so you can vote. So in-room goes first. Even if you hear your name called, if you're online, you'll have to wait. I apologize. Just the way it's rolling tonight. All right, so for all room, we'll do a vote of affirmation. So assuming everybody's a yes, are there any no's? Kay is a no. Chang is a no, Coleman is a no, and Lyons is a no. Are there any abstentions? Shear abstains. Blank abstains. And Curtis abstains. Okay. And Brown Kennedy. All right. And Brown Kennedy. Okay, for those online, let me switch. Foreman, you missed the first vote, so what?
Foreman votes yes.
Foreman votes yes, you are now counting for attendance. Switching to the online,
Canal votes no.
Oh, yeah, Tricia, can you vote audibly, please?
What's that?
Can you vote out loud? How do you vote?
Tricia's a yes. Thank you.
okay, so for all those online, I'm gonna assume you are, again, vote by affirmation. If you are there any no's online?
Canal's a no.
Okay, are there any? Charcutian votes yes, he was not here for the first vote, perfect. Airman, you were not here for the first vote, how do you vote?
Chairman votes yes.
Okay. Are there any abstentions online? And no recusals? Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much. Let's leave it the way it is now, and we'll go to the second resolution. So we're gonna flip this up in deference to the people who are online, to make it a little bit easier for them this time around. People in the room go second, if you have something. All right, the second resolution for executive is on changes to the illegal cannabis enforcement and the New York State budget proposal. Do I have any questions from anybody online? No. Do I have any questions from anybody in the room? Hornet has questions. Speak loudly because the mics in front of you are operating.
In the therefore, yes, therefore be it resolved, point 2. It states that we're looking to increase the penalty for any site that knowingly sells to minors.
Yes.
Penalty for all who are selling these minors. Why do we advocate for that? I would advocate for that.
There is a penalty for selling illegally. what we were asking for was an increased penalty for anyone who fails to minor.
Same point.
You just want to increase the penalties above and beyond what they are now.
Yes. It seems to be ineffective. And so why not make it more effective?
It fits the tone and tenor of the meeting. I see no, more significant penalties for any side.
And on point 8, it says add additional penalties for repeat offenders.
Yes.
I guess I'll do that, okay. I did not understand point 5. Could someone explain that?
So, Jared, do you want to take that one or I can, either way?
Point 5, in response to the government proposal as it relates to.
Sorry, can you speak up?
Sorry, you never did that.
Just come forward to the L.
So this is in response to 2 documents that were given. One that outlines the governor's proposals, budget as it relates to OCS enforcement against illegal shops, and then a series of official comments from, which office was that?
We've been working with Senator Kavanaugh's office.
Senator Kavanaugh's office for additional modifications. This is our list of sort of additional modifications on top of those additional modifications. So the number 5 is reference to the list of designated responsible parties. It outlines, and I don't have it in front of me, but the documents we given outline all different parties that can be responsible. The owner, the operator, et cetera. It doesn't list the employees. And part of what we were saying was add the employees to the list of parties that can be held responsible as a way to deter employment. Does that make sense?
So I would not agree to that. Employees may not understand the law. Employees may not really be responsible for what's going on in the shop. I don't think, they certainly don't have any legal responsibility currently, but the activity that's going on, they're not necessarily aware whether the shop is legal or not legal.
Exactly. Agreed.
I think they could figure that out.
So, well, they may, but they may or they may not. So to add them as responsible parties under the law, I think is
fair. I would just, I agree.
So this is a fairly controversial part of the topic because, we have it very clearly in there that an employee would be responsible for selling to a minor because they shouldn't be selling to minors, period.
Minors I would buy.
Right, but that makes them part of the designated list of responsible parties because they're the ones selling over the counter to minors.
Can I just ask this, but are employees responsible selling to minors in a bar?
Yes, absolutely. Pat?
I kind of agree with you, Richard. I just don't think that employees, first of all, it's up to the owner and the manager to make sure that employees know they were not supposed to sell to minors. If they sell by mistake to a minor because the minor presents them with a illegal identification saying that they are legal, I don't think they should be held responsible. I think the owner and the manager of the establishment should be held responsible. And I think it's discouraging, people who need jobs, but if they realize the ramifications of some of this, they may not want to work in an establishment, work in a cannabis shop, close them.
The one thing I would say also is that the other part of that is to avoid sort of murky saying, well, I'm not the owner, this guy's I'm not the manager, this is the manager. The point is to try and have enforcement against these illegal jobs. I think we have to do urgent that all have elements of it.
Sarah?
I think there's a material difference between, doesn't work. There's a material difference between, there's a material difference.
No, it's all right. No, speak loudly, Sarah. I promise to Mike Ward.
There's a material difference between, checking someone's age in a bar or cannabis shop and being responsible legally
for whether the shop is there or not.
So are you saying that you would only include the employees list of designated responsible parties for active sales?
Correct.
Okay, pass the mic. Like Rosa was next?
Black.
We don't want
What I'm trying to carve the line out is we want to ensure that the employees understand that they should not be selling to minors.
I mean, that's the owner and manager, that's up to everybody.
No, it's bartender. It just makes a difference. Lawyers, more.
Firstly, as I understand the resolution, this is dealing with illegal shops.
Right.
So no one should be in that store
That's true.
buying, whether they're minors or not minors, adults, whatever. So just because someone has an ID that they're an adult doesn't mean that someone in an illegal shop is allowed to sell this. So, perhaps you could make a requirement that the employee knowingly sell and not be under the mistaken impression that the shopper somehow is legal. You know, you can go to some of these illegal shops and you can ask, oh, are you licensed? And they'll tell you they are, even though they're not. And, I mean, there's one particular shop that recently opened in our district where they have, I found they have shops all over the city under the same name. I don't know if they're related, but I did speak to Councilman Butler. So anyway, that's my point.
Less story, more wording. So if you have a way to redefine the line that fits to ensure that employees
add the word knowingly.
No, employees that knowingly sell.
They have to prove that.
Okay, knowingly is yours?
Knowingly.
Okay, thank you. I would take that as a way to leave that in there.
Right.
I understand the definition of that. Is there anybody else who has anything they'd like to say? Any other hands on? Desi, anybody online, put your hand up if you have something that you'd like to add to this, please.
You can speak to the owl. I can speak to the owl.
Or the mic.
Or both.
Yeah.
So I just have a legal, I guess, question or observation. If you commit a crime, you can incur a higher, I guess, impact of charge if you inflict that crime on a child, right? So I guess we're saying it may not make a difference because you're not supposed to be operating in the first place. But if you're not supposed to be operating and then you are inflicting further harm on a minor, I would say that to me is more egregious.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what the law says.
If you know, or if the law says. But sometimes if you don't know the law, you still are responsible for abiding by it.
Ignorance is not a defense.
It isn't,
of the law.
yeah.
Correct.
There you go.
But it is relevant
Okay.
in many cases.
So the word that we're gonna add in there was knowingly for the employee. And I'm okay with it. Jared? Jared, that's what I'm asking you to help me figure it out based on what the language was.
Knowing that they're selling to a minor. Knowing that they're selling to a minor.
I'm not, the knowing you're selling to a minor estate, this was about employees
Number
working in
5.
an illegal shop. If they knew, and the key is whether or not, if they know it's an illegal shop, then that's what we're saying.
So that's it. Add, if I may, add employees that knowingly work in an illegal cannabis shop, the list of designated responsible parties.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay, that's clear, I appreciate that.
Somebody asked, how would you prove that they?
That's not for me to prove, that's for them. I don't have the burden of proof on this.
I would say that.
Oh, wait a minute, I've got a call to question and I've got the second. Mark Norris spoke, and he gave us the knowingly, which we are now added in. And then the question was called, and the question has been seconded.
So let's do
And I
it.
have no other hands online. So now we're going for a vote. If you are online, please make sure your cameras are open so you may vote. Again, this is, we're gonna vote by affirmation. Okay? Assuming everybody's a yes, are there any opposition? I see no opposition in the room.
I'm abstaining.
Oh, abstaining? Okay. Are there any abstentions or opposition online?
Bruce Airman abstains.
Are there any more abstentions in the room? Fantastic, motion carries, thank you very much, we'll get this up and hopefully mix it into budget. All righty, that brings us to, I have my agenda, sorry. All right, I have two other things I just want to tell you about. MOCJ gave a report, which was really pretty cool, for basic information and a start. Our jail population is over 6,000. There is no way in God's green earth that's going to get into the 4 buildings they have planned. And so this is the start of a conversation to have them come and talk about programs and talk about services and talk about what exists now and the hopes and dreams. So our goal is to have MOCJ come back. We'd love if you have questions to send them to the office. We'll gather them and have them come for the next presentation. Considering that they're not starting construction for 2 years and there's many other things that are coming down the pipe, let's be ready, let's ask those questions. Let's make sure that we can potentially give some feedback to the Litman Commission about their new view of what's going on and how Community Board 1 hopes and thinks that perhaps the current plan should be renovated. We also have a presentation from the New York City FBI field office. They chose CD1 as a road test for their presentation, so I highly suggest that you watch the video, listen to the video because the cameras were off during their presentation, to help them roll out the conversation on what is election crimes. Any questions, Justine?
Just a quick comment about the MOCJ report. I just want to note that I believe that they said that they implemented some of the new programs they were touting in their meeting and presented in October 2023 at Rikers. Things are still, not good at Rikers. So I would like them to come back and hold them accountable based on the fact to see what has changed. Because if part of their deal is, these programs are wonderful, they're working, we're gonna put them in the new places, we're still in the same boat that we're in with Rikers because the programs are not working. The fact that it just started in October, maybe it's not enough time. But I just want to make us all be aware and keep that in our heads as we ask this and when they come back, that's all.
Yeah, again, more questions, send them to the office, and we'll go from there. Anybody else have any other questions? I want to say, since everybody's here tonight, they weren't here necessarily exec, a thank you to Eric Yu. Eric, where are you? Eric's here somewhere. There he is. Eric is our second parliamentarian. So for days that Patrick cannot be in the room and we need somebody, we've always had 2 parliamentarians. Eric has stepped up to be our second, so we now are back to 2 parliamentarians. If you feel that you would love to donate more of your time to the community board, we have lots of opportunities and side jobs and roles. Please call me, we'd be delighted to say yes. And with that, let's move to landmarks.
Great. Urgent deliveries, team about this, hold on.
Oh, you're.
Yeah, we hear you.
We heard from the team over there and you guys, but I think are we gonna be able to have an image of this? Okay, so there's our existing newsstand. and there is the proposal for the delivery stuff. So I let everybody make their own decisions about how they feel that fits in with the park. Christine, 1 second. You know, we did, you know, review this from all angles, and I think the sense in the room that we did all very much like the design. And then there were some other things we talked about, but it's really the design that we're here, maybe a little bit about the location. So if anybody has anything to say, about part of the resolution. Interesting.
Yeah, no, sorry. Sorry about this, but, I just was, I guess moving forward, it took got my attention hearing what Reese's had to say, what Senator Schumer's person had to say, some other gentleman had to say, and I guess looking at this, it's open to the elements or it's flat and enclosed.
No, I think that's enclosed.
Enclosed, so it's an enclosed space, and how much is that, 1/3?
It's more like half of the side, one would say half of the side.
Half the side.
Half the side.
That does, I mean, it looks like what it would be if you shower.
It's gonna be 5 feet, 5 feet.
Yeah, I guess,
Further.
in a vacuum, had these folks not shown up, I would have been supporting the decision, because, yeah, so. And I think the idea of what Alex said about adaptive reuse made sense, but I'm also very much moved by what they said. So that's my thing.
But that's what I would just say something I was talking about in my head at the time of the meeting, and that was, why is this just happening in some private space? Why would it have to be, you know, why can't they raise funds? to do
Jason, I can answer.
Okay.
So I had a conversation today, thank you, Patrick, who I think may still be here, and I'm sorry, I'll say that really often. This is coming in this site because the mayor's office did not have another way or location to roll them out. So they were looking at using the park's kiosks because as the fastest route method. We don't know if there's another faster route method, and I asked very strongly that we be able to reach out to City Hall. I don't think anybody in this room doesn't support the deliveristas and having a location. Things that came up on a preview call that people don't know about, that I will talk about to give you context. There's no bathroom. We wanted an access to a bathroom for them. We thought that that was critical as a stop. We wanted a larger space. The new design that they show here has been told to me originally was open on the street side, and then it got turned around for what was said to be, and Kate, I'm not throwing you under the bus, I swear. Some officials are under the understanding that there would be a bike lane on Broadway coming down right behind this, which is why the back is now on the street side. However, I've been told that that's not by DOT in writing, that there are no plans currently. I could read the note out. So there were lots of questions and conversations of, is this the right location? Could we find a better place for them that could get access to a public bathroom? Access to a larger place where more charging stations were outside versus the 4 that they were putting inside to allow a larger rest area. And those questions have not been answered because they're looking at the silo of what fits with their kiosks. There's a letter on record from not only Schumer, but Transportation Alternatives for this location because they don't have other locations. The City Hall Park Conservancy, which operates the park, had 2 other suggestions. They believe that this is an incredible opportunity to take life around the park, but they have 2 other locations that they would like vetted that would give them, one, would give them access to public bathrooms and potentially get them a larger space. So if you're looking at the north side of the Tweed Courthouse, there's a curb cut and a driveway entrance. They would be able to come in. It would give them greater access to the park and a more complete idea for what it's supposed to be, and potentially public restrooms within the Tweed Courthouse.
24/7?
Potentially 24/7, or at least longer hours, and provide a little bit more safety and security for them. The other location was directly on the bike path at the southern tip of City Hall Park, which is on the sidewalk. Same tour visit. So the question was whether or not City Hall could work with us to find something that meets the needs differently. Those are the conversations that we have had offline. This is a landmarks process where we're supposed to apply for a landmarks position. There are other things that go into it that landmarks, as we know, from 250 water opines about, you know, improvement for real estate values, all kinds of other things that LPC gets involved in. But it doesn't change the conversation that perhaps we could have another conversation. And the City Hall Park Conservancy is very open to looking at that and making sure there's no. And I'm gonna pass the mic to Mimi next.
Why is this in landmarks?
It requires a certificate of appropriateness.
Landmarks district, it's in a historic. Even though it's not.
The landmark.
Landmark. Oh, it's a landmark district, okay. Did J.C. DeCro run the newsstand previously, or who ran the newsstand previously?
So long ago, I mean, it's still 3 years ago, so.
Okay, I think it would be a great first direction, at least I think we can build on it. It could be effectively piloted, and we can move forward. But yeah,
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, I think it's easy to, for a lot of things to say, I support X, just not here. You know, we are presented now an opportunity to do something very impactful for a vulnerable group of people, who are very valuable and serve our community and great risk themselves for today. To reduce their interests below these obscurities about historical aesthetics, I think is just kind of backwards. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't think, I mean, everything's relative in a major city as dense as this one, but it is not a heavily traffic sidewalk. It is very wide. It is not heavily traffic.
No. No, we don't let.
There are protests, there's a lot of space along that route, there are protests on different parts of it, it's not always right in front of this empty area that's been demolished, it's not heavily traffic, like you go across the street to the west side of the street, it's a lot more crowded there. There's a lot of space there, I can't imagine a better space that's smack in the middle of our community that's very accessible to all areas. I'll stop now, but.
Yeah, thank you.
So I don't particularly love the way that it looks, but I think that the need is so clear and obvious, and I think that if we just, yes, it would be awesome if it had bathrooms, it should 100% have bathrooms, so I want us to not do this right now because it doesn't have bathrooms. The answer is no, because the need is so immediate. And we should be creating these spaces. If this is the space that we are looking at because it's not being used, then I say that we should absolutely do this. We need to have this. This should be the first of many. And I hope that it is proven to be successful as a prototype so that we are able to actually integrate it and roll it out citywide. I just, for walking around the city, I think we all know that there's some basic needs that we all have. And I would think that we would want to be able to help satisfy those needs here with this little kiosk, beautiful thing. So I think that we all go to actually get this to happen.
Hand it down, and we, again, we're doing the business of the board, there's no capping, clapping, there's no nothing, it's board members only unless I call on you, all right?
Well, real quick, like what Tammy had says, where I fully support this, and it's beautiful. I think that I hope there's a proliferation across the city. But I also think that there should be some lobbying of DOT about a two-way bike lane. That stretch on Broadway, and then just connecting to the bike lane that comes on Park Road. You know, so there is some sort of, you know, there's a bike chaos.
Because there's no direct way to get there without driving on the sidewalk.
And people do
Well,
There is no direct way to get to the existing location. If you are on the street, yes, but otherwise it's sidewalks, because the bike comes down around the south side, and then it's illegal to drive one way the wrong way up Broadway. So unless you come down from the top of Broadway, you can't actually access it.
So if there were, again, if take away the or parking on the east side of Broadway and create two domestic chambers as well.
To go around to the park. And to go around to the
Jared, and then Brendan, and then Jared, Brendan, Vicky, Desi, Geraldine's vote, is that, stand after that?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Okay, so the two things I want to say about this, just reiterating what I said at the committee meeting. The first is that I think that the need for this is unquestionable. But I do have questions about, well, I guess it is questionable. I have questions about this location. And I do think right in our backyard here, in this very building, there's a location. On the south side of the building, when we come out after the community board meetings on that side, there's a plaza there with two kiosks that have been empty, that haven't had an RFP for them in 4 or 5 years.
that actually has an approved by landmarks bathroom for one of those kiosks.
They have piping.
That's what I was thinking about.
The last time, I think it was 2019, it was actually an RFP for that space. Just sitting there.
There's an outline.
That's the first thing that it's, and there's a bike path right there. The only thing I would say is that in justifying this particular space, I got repeated several times, which I personally kind of disagree with saying. Newspapers, they've gone the way of the dodo, there's no use for this stand. Part of it is that there's a very finite list of approved items that can be sold in the space. So you can modify those rules to increase the number of items and types of items that can be sold. But to say that these spaces have no other purpose, I felt is very much time involved. Who does this go?
Next was Brendan over here, and then if you can hand the mic to Vicky, I think, and then Vicky, Desi, Jared.
So I support this resolution because I walk by that every day, and yes, I don't like that it's empty, but I think what the city hall people were going for, like, low-hanging fruit, I think more due diligence is needed, seeing that there are other options in the area. I support the refilling what they're trying to accomplish, but I don't support, and they said, taking away additional sidewalk space here, and also to give it to cyclists, and basically giving them permission to walk on the sidewalk. When just literally last week, I got cursed out because the cyclist split me and another person on that sidewalk. Stop taking away our sidewalks, man. We have very limited sidewalks, and we're saying, let's give more space to them. I like the idea that Alice proposed earlier. Use what's existing there and put it in the battery lockers and things like that. Don't take away additional sidewalk. But still, and to the point that you made, Jess, there was a protest there already that you have to like circumnavigate. So there's stuff going on. I would have supported if it was better on this side. As Jerry said, there's like space around here. It's not pushing it all the way into another neighborhood, into another district, but not like that. Because I would like to utilize that park and stuff. I would like to utilize that sidewalk. It's a sidewalk. I don't want to have to continue to dodge cyclists coming at me at 35 miles per hour on a sidewalk where there are additional people, where tourist groups regularly walk that path, where we're trying to encourage people to use that park. And now we're just saying, okay, cool, we'll just let the cyclists have all of that. That's not what I support. Also knowing that cyclists, and I understand this, so I don't yell at them and I don't get mad about it, the only through is through City Hall Park on the sidewalks. To Pat's point, they're not gonna get off their bikes, but that's the only path. So now you're basically really just giving that up to cyclists, and I don't support that. So again, I'm supporting this resolution. I don't care as much about design, et cetera, and stuff. I like the design that's there, but I don't like this taking 33% more sidewalk that.
Thank you. I think Vicky was next.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Vicky?
So one of my comments is to people, folks like you, who did not understand that this is not about the support of this program. Okay, Justine, we're fine with these people doing their job, but these people have also taken over our sidewalks, endangering children and pets. So our program here
was to discuss the landmark,
Application.
no, it's the application, but what is the landmark application is whether this is suitable, right? Design-wise to be in this location. So we have to be careful when we respond to this, because landmarks is not gonna opine on a business. But I was saying at our committee meeting that this is our most civic space, people. This is where there should be ample opportunity for people to stand and protest in groups and not be cluttered by little private events. We should respect a big space. We don't have a lot of gathering spaces in New York City, and this is a civic location. So please remember that. We're not voting no on the business. We're voting no on this business in this location. Thank you.
Thank you.
Desi, and then I think you said.
Desi?
So I have a question about if this space is not suitable, then do we have to start all over again with the vetting of a new space? I guess my question is, if not here, then where and how long?
The answer is yes, because it would be a different site or a different proposal, so you have to go from the beginning.
And start from the very beginning.
Right, unless there's an idea that this fits in a one size fits all, that's not what they're.
I guess thank you. So I guess my other concern is either or. Why not both? Why not make this particular space suitable in a way that is safe and then continue the other vetting of other sites?
Because it's a permanent thing. They're gonna take this out and it's a permanent brand new building. Once it's there, it's there. So the question is not about temporary location. The question is about finding the perfect permanent location that potentially supports the needs for all of them. Now, we only get a bite of the landmarks aspect of it, which I think is sad, because if the city hall had come to us and said, hey, what do you think? The first place I know I would have said was 1 Center Street. Landmarks has already approved a public restroom. The city owns public restrooms that could be installed over there. And so they could potentially have a place to rest and a public restroom, right? Where they are now, where the potential location is now does not support that, right?
How long before another resolution will be brought to us?
That's a really great question. I can tell you that they tried to install something up on the upper west side. They found a location that was unsuitable. I think that was last year. So the question really becomes is, how quickly can we help them get it done? If they reach the community board first, I think that the community board would suggest lots of places, including potentially partnering with the Downtown Alliance and seeing if there's places along Water Street. I mean, there's 1,000 different places in the community that we think that they could be, right? There's open space.
Private space.
There's private space, there's space filled by there's lots of different places. And I think that the city, from what I was told, has limited themselves to finding locations that were previously operating kiosks, because the Parks Department has purview over that. I think, is that the correct way of saying them? The Parks Department review, that is their general purview, is over the kiosk that's there, so that was.
I think just
I'm just concerned about how long it would take to be able to.
You know what? Do you want, my answer is, it takes as long as it takes, but we have work done on other locations. And this is only about this location and its suitability to this. Gentlemen from the Parks Department, let's have you answer, because.
We got Betty.
And then, yeah.
More Alice, we're getting lessons.
We're gonna cut this to 2 minutes to everybody and meet these time.
Hi. With regard to this specific location.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm nice to see you all, David Serrano, this commissioner of Parks. With regard to this specific location, this was a former newsstand for quite some time. I've seen a number of businesses come through it and not be able to work successfully. And indeed, at the time we started looking at this potential hub site, it had been vacant for quite a while.
And this was a site that was, important, I think, from a delivery perspective, because it was close to a lot of businesses, a lot of food services, and a lot of residents.
Yes.
It also had connection to 1%, which is proof of recharging batteries. We also are aware that there is city council legislation in effect that means that all of the stores, all of the restaurants have to make their restrooms available to the deliveries, which is enormously helpful and which drastically reduces the need for bathroom. And then, we also knew that working with the little baristas, they were going to staff these hubs consistently on a daily basis for large periods of time during the day, at peak periods. And so we felt that was something that could address a lot of safety concerns, because there would be a person there ensuring that they were safe. And then our colleagues at DOT created these task forces, which eliminated city parking spaces to allow pullover from the bikes coming from the street. Again, to try and reduce or eliminate congestion. We also knew, as we were looking at these sites, that there were so many deliveries in the neighborhood already. They're serving all of us in this neighborhood. Not that this would add to any congestion of traffic, but that it would simply give them a place to rest for a moment, to recharge, and also serve the owners from.
I need to do it to your notes wrong. I'm sorry about that. We're gonna go for anybody who has not spoken. Justine behind me, Mort and Alice, and Gerald, you spoke in public session.
So did Alice.
And then Stuart. Richard, before, 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really quick. The thing that Alice said about adaptive reuse, and Danny, the way you described everything with different alternate sites and different suggestions, it's not included in that resolution. Perhaps it's because it's a landmark resolution that doesn't go that far, but the reason why I'm gonna vote no to the resolution is because it's not advancing enough. And I almost would say go back, and I appreciate that maybe it's not scope.
We're not going back. Unless it's happening tonight, we're not going back.
We're not going back. But just, Jason, if your comment is a friendly amendment that goes into the resolution that says alternative locations should be chosen and partner with the community because we are in support of the project, not the location, with the tone and tenor of the meeting and the resolution, if that's what you're asking, Justine, then ask it.
Okay, I'm asking that, however, I still might say no, instead of. But I know, so that's why I
gotta sit down.
But
Betty, your turn, Morton's walking up, and then.
Justine, can I just one step further? I think that there needs to be a lot of whereas information.
I agree. Thank you.
My parts to support that particular way, what facility.
Thank you.
I agree.
There's not enough information.
Options there, all right. And why the location? Because students also come from Brooklyn, so putting them down somewhere else in our district, logical as being there, which is more federal. My suggestion is going to be, I'm not going to buy a really, it's like we're disproving.
Yeah.
There's such obvious support for the function of the site. I would change it to the groups as well.
Thank you.
Or groups, yeah, with those things, the condition, then the site for investigation.
Which, of course, is what.
But that's not what landmarks are for.
That's not what landmarks.
Exactly.
They don't investigate these things.
But it's.
We either approve it or disapprove of it. I'm happy to add a couple whereas.
And if you disapprove, you can say.
It's not an if thing.
That's right.
I'm not changing it to an if.
That's right.
These are like all of some feelings for getting this done. And it's not this site, someone else.
No, because it's on the timeline. It's on a timeline.
When are you going to landmarks?
The next few weeks.
Would you hold it over since it's such an important project that everybody has I mean, we haven't even heard, like, you heard community member, except the 50 people that I see here from that.
That's not true. We heard from the Central Park Conservancy.
I do, we're bouncing around.
Central Hall Park Conservancy. City Hall Park. Sorry. She said. I really made that. So the question goes back, hold on. The applicant is the Parks Department, right? They are the applicant, correct? So the question to the applicant is, would you hold it over and allow us to work with you and work with them to find other locations and not go forward with this application so we can hold this over and do a working group to look at all other possibilities and locations?
That's great. That's something we'll have, we can take that under consideration.
If you are not willing to say that this evening, then for the board, we have to pass a resolution. We can add the whereas is in here, but at the end of the day, the therefore be it resolved does not change. Where we could say, we support this project, we think there are other locations. We think that this is a desperate need for the community and for the city. We can say all of those things. We can even reference the fact that there's a bathroom and kiosk already approved for 1 Center Street. We can do all of those things in whereases, but that doesn't change the therefore be it resolved pursuant to what Jason has said. You are either in for the location or out. So if we want to add the whereases, then somebody say something. I'm happy to work with Jason.
But if statements are not going to work out.
Correct. It's either, so it all goes into the whereases, like Jason said.
Can I just add also that in landmarks, like Landmark Preservation Commission, it's a highly technical procedure, right? So us talking about what we like or what we don't like, it doesn't have any reference to landmarking, just makes us sound silly in many ways, right? They just dismiss them. So we can only, we should want to be effective, only function within their rules. And so this resolution, we discussed it, Jason and I mean, everyone discussed it and mulled it over to say no, but stick to the point that landmarks can use.
Can I? Yes.
More.
Right. Well, my question is, like the resolution is up or down at this site, and there's such a demand for this type of site, but my question, is there any limit to capacity for the use of this facility at this location? And what's to prevent it from being overwhelmed with demand? That location gets very congested on different times of the day, rush hour in the morning, rush hour in the evening, protests, all kinds of things. And the Broadway gets jammed up with cars and buses and protesters and so on. So with so many,
Yes, there's a capacity, and yes, they will be full, or they will be empty like any other place.
no, but what's preventing the overcapacity?
This is only some of us.
I have my hand up, but anyway.
Hold on, please. You know how to hate that. Richard Corman, you have not said a word, you had your hand up. I'm going to anybody who has not talked yet.
I have a friendly amendment.
You have to wait for people who have not talked.
Understood.
Richard?
I only wanted to reiterate what some people have already said, which is that space, the critical space for any people that are protesting politically for, in front of City Hall. There have been many of them, including, as we heard earlier, the home health care workers and their hunger strike. And this would make political activity in that location much, much more difficult and more limited. So while, of course, I think the sentiment here is in support of the function in the right location, this clearly, to me, is just not the right location.
Thank you. Okay. 1 minute, Wendy, Jeff, Pat, I think those are the three that haven't said anything. And then Gerald has a friendly amendment. Do you have a friendly amendment?
I haven't said anything, Tammy.
Wendy, 1 minute each.
So I think that in one of the whereases, could we put that the applicant did not come to the community board in any other manner and the appropriate committees that we all know they should have first. That is a fact. And that we strongly recommend that in the future, with these types of well-supported proposals, initiatives, that they come to the community board to partner with us early on, so we don't have these obvious, it makes us look really uncaring, which is not the case.
Agreed. We've already thought of 4 of them.
Yeah, I think that there's criticism on the, on the whereas.
Jeff? Sorry, Parks Department.
And then the Bruce.
All right, it's very close for me on this, but I am going to vote against the resolution. I have been persuaded by the applicant and me. I think that makes a good point, that basically, that's, you can't just say no to everything. There's always a reason not to do something. It's very hard to find a reason to do something, and all of us, not just the community board, but people in general have a tendency, yeah, it's a great idea, but not here. And then, so I'm very close to all the arguments for and against.
Your minutes up.
Either, I just want to say, I want a friendly amendment to put the whereas that you proposed and call the question.
Gerald and Alice.
My hand has been up.
I'm sorry, hold on, Bruce, go, Bruce. Bruce, go.
Oh, sorry. So in my minute, I just want to say that despite what the chair and co-chair has said, we then reverted right back to usage and circumstantial issues as regards the Landmarks Preservation Commission. I testified last month for the committee on a resolution there. If you've never been to a Landmarks Preservation Commission hearing, I would urge you to go before you then revert back to issues that the LPC will not consider, in fact, will ignore us more fully if we go into. If you want an extensive meeting on usage and purpose and so on, we should have that. This regards landmarks issues, and if you read the resolution, you will see what the issues are and why the suggestion has been to reject it. Has nothing to do with usage. And I'm all for the political demonstrations, and I think they should be there, but I too will not diverge from the task at hand for the Landmarks Committee.
Thank you, Bruce. Gerald.
Yeah, so I have a few friendly amendments, one being that the existing newsstand is in fine condition. That's not entirely true. I've been by the newsstand. There, the whole soffit on the underside is waterlogged and just.
Okay, we don't know.
This is a landmarks thing, and it's very subjective. It's very subjective to put something like that in there, in my opinion. How about very good? So,
Fair.
it's standing, let's put it that way. So the second friendly amendment would be to actually strike the third whereas about CB1 having recently received a letter that has nothing to do with landmarks.
Guess what? If we're gonna put in here, the park board with us, we support the usage, then that's gonna stay as well.
Well,
You can't-
I think we should, like, so who is this? Who?
We have a letter. If you
We have a
want,
letter.
absolutely, Zach will forward it to you, but it is a matter of public record. There was a
But this
request.
letter wasn't at the committee.
It was sent, and I was.
Okay, well, I still, letter of interest doesn't seem to be. Next, would be that, in one of these whereases, we need to state that this is not a historic structure. It was built in 1980.
Are you gonna go yes or no?
No. All right, Alice is next.
I'll tell you what, it sets a precedent for what landmarks is putting forward, you know? I mean, so do it the way you want, but I'm just saying, it's not a historic.
Alice?
Who's next?
Obviously, I'll stand by what I stated earlier and absolutely that as we go. And I think Bruce, I hope that you all want to hear Bruce, this is a landmark issue. This is not about the aesthetics and historic structure, whether you like it or not. It's about things like the view corridor, the amount of space on the sidewalk, how much the city hall getting, and the like. And these are the things that the commissioners will discuss. And I should say, it wasn't mentioned that the Landmarks Conservancy wrote us a letter. They were presented with this project very much against
the project at that location. And with great concern that this would be an iterative project that would happen in different phases, places of the city, and it is not a one-size-fits-all building. One of the things I don't think you all are aware of is that right now the mayor launched a bike storage, a bike battery storage pilot. And there are 5 pilot locations in New York City. And I asked the night of the committee meeting why no one talked about this. But the fact is, there are 5 locations, one in Cooper Square. So there are small battery lockers that are put up in 5 locations that are being used as a pilot. Pilot is to see, does it work before you add permanence? This seems like a tremendously logical thing to do. And I do not understand why DOT and Park do not work together in allowing us to pilot in this location or in a nearby location prior to putting a 300 square foot permanent building that no one could tell me what the price was to put it up or to demolish the one that's there. These are not inconsequential numbers or positions. And the fact is the pilot exists. And I really should be supportive of that pilot rather than this particular large building. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it. I have no other hands online. Bruce, take your hand down, please, since you've already spoken. Jason, yeah, I've got simple whereas.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's the resolution with the whereas. And yes, since we have the one about the lease interest, we're gonna end up putting that we support the usage. We're gonna put that we wish that parks have come to us to work with us for their locations and that we are willing to do so and happy to. We'll put in the parks about, this City Hall Park Conservancy notes, where they did not approve the design and supported other locations about the Conservancy and our concerns that the structure is too large because we are looking for a sidewalk space critical for pedestrians, protests, etc. Pursuant to what Gerald's saying, we'll put a note in about why the existing newsstand was in there. It was built in a recent build in the historic style to complement City Hall Park. That's what. 1980. 1980. All right. Only house. Okay, that gets under the gist.
Not evenOma. Like, you know, it's not iconic.
And then there is no current bicycle lane. There is no bike lanes. And for the Parks Department, I will note that in this presentation, there's also no place to park the bikes that aren't currently charged.
Yeah.
That's your picture. Yeah.
And the vetting of other spaces.
The bike lane.
Just with regards to reaching out, we did reach out to acquire this committee. They were going to step 1, which was to discuss this relation to give them, to let them know that was part of.
He hasn't been here since May of 2023.
Yeah, this would have been either late 22 or early 23. The process for any session. This is a full session. There's step 1, step 2. So step 1 is permission. And it's practice of the following rules. Please thank you, this or letting them know to go through this process, and we also reach out.
It'd be great if you could send that to us because no one came to a committee, no one spoke to us. We would have certainly had you come to a waterfront parks and cultural committee or a transportation committee. The first that we saw, heard, whatever, was the preview meeting that you came.
To the best of my recollection, all these things don't well, but I think it's the case we all want to. And my recollection that they were told that, until there was a proposal, to say that.
Okay, well,
we're going to be unfollowed with you.
Yeah.
And then just as a matter of.
I appreciate that.
I apologize in advance, but I think we sent out a notice and there was a conversation. Again, this would have been late 2022 or early 2020.
Okay. We hope that you will still come back to us. We hope that we have to pass this tonight. We are still hoping we table it. We're hoping to get them a location that works for including a current bathroom, because, you know, you need one, period.
Could you get back to us with that, because I've asked twice about the cost of the demolition, the construction, and also how this dovetails with the mayor's launch of these 5 pilots that are currently underway.
Let's go.
That would be great, thank you.
Okay, let's go.
Tammy, I just wanted to add with the car going on.
But cars don't go out like this. They're selling the driveway. They're selling the driveway. We can put in the placard park there because they have no lights parking.
Can we vote?
Jason. Question.
Call the vote.
All right, we're roll calling. This is a negative resolution, which means we are not approving the landmarks in this location. This does not mean we don't support them, we don't want to find another location. This means this design in this location and this style is not what we're approving.
So it's a yes, right?
It's, you vote yes to correct.
To disapprove.
To disapprove.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Amoruso.
Yeah.
Thank you. Blank,
Blank, yes.
thank you. Brown Kennedy, thank you. Cameron,
Cameron, yes.
thank you. Cassell,
Cassell, yes.
thank you. Chang,
Jane, no.
thank you. Chad,
Chapman, yes.
thank you. Charcuterie,
Charcuterie votes yes.
thank you. Coleman,
Yes, no.
can you say your name and then your vote, please?
No.
Corman,
Norman, yes.
thank you. Kucha,
Kuchen, no.
thank you. Curtis,
Curtis, yes.
thank you. Airman,
Airman, definitely yes.
thank you. Flores,
Flores, yes.
thank you. Flynn, no. Forsberg,
I already voted no, but I'm gonna go to abstain, so. There, I moved a little bit.
Roman, yes. Thank you. Galloway,
Galloway, no.
thank you. Goldstein,
Goldstein, yes.
Goodkind,
Good kind, no.
thank you. Grayson, thank you. Joyce,
Yes.
thank you. Jude,
Yes.
thank you. Kay, thank you. Canal,
No, yes.
Capel,
Propel, yes.
thank you. Lerner,
Lerner, yes.
thank you. Lewinson,
Yes.
thank you. Lynn,
No.
thank you. Lyon,
Lyon, no.
thank you. Meltzer,
Yes.
thank you. Minsley,
Minsley, yes.
thank you. Moore,
More, yes.
thank you. Kenya,
No, I mean, yes, sorry, I got confused. Yes for the no.
Saoirse Corey, thank you. Robinson,
All right.
Robinson abstains. All that, thank you. Shear. Thank you. Garrison.
Yes.
Thank you. Thompson.
Thompson, yes.
Thank you. You.
You, yes.
Thank you. Selter.
Delter, no.
It passes.
Motion passes. Thank you. It's hard when we don't get everything we want, but we really hope more than anything, the Parks Department comes back to us. And let's work this out for a better stream. Thank you. Madam Clerk, say, Justine, pick the podium.
Thank you.
Justine, you have 6 minutes. She has 5 slides.
first and foremost, when we talk about Saturday, construction, update, and I want you to take away from this is where you can find more information, which is the website, and I would take away the key meeting construction liaison, their phone number is there. So people who are concerned about it, call. Next slide. That University operation of the spring preview, done by Brian Perez. Link to the full presentation, really nice presentation, lots of fluff, lots of plantings being done. I was impressed with the 40,000 bulbs that they planted, it's lovely. Things that have taken place, they're working on lights, the blue lights that are out south of Marina. They're fixing the padding at the ball fields. Apparently it's been discussed in disrepair. No time has been given to when that's going to be done. Slide, apparently the swings are out around Fuller Park, they're working on that too. The permeable pavers, there was a pilot here that proves that the permeable pavers work as intended. So now the next step is equipment, right? So they're trying to incorporate them into both South Island Battery Park City Resiliency Project and the Northern and West Battery Park City Resiliency Project. And it's not something that you put every place, which I thought was interesting. It was just, but that was going to be underneath it. Places where it makes sense, places where it doesn't. We ask that they come back to us and give the community and community board one a chance to weigh in on opine on the style. And there was a differing opinion as to one style versus other style and places. Who cares? Not yet. I'm assuming that's fine. All right. This is a presentation put together by Dr. Betty Kay, and I just have to say what a great job she did in the presentation. She was talking about daylighting in North Battery Park City, and how the traffic and the way the trucks come in, the cars come in, people in the park, make it dangerous for pedestrians, cyclists, and even cars. It blocks the road, and certainly people in strollers or in wheelchairs to cross streets. So I put it as daylighting, it seems that that would be one of the solutions that we're forward. Betty and Jimmy Sung and their committee, they offered to get together to kind of put together a working group or some sort to come back so we can have a resolution either in April or May, we'll put together a resolution for the neighborhood. And then I put call out both within and South neighborhood. We discussed it and decided that South Avenue is pretty wide and there's not that much issues. Except, well, mostly because people really care more about parking. However, where I noticed, what I noticed was a real mess by Valley Place, especially in front of 276, ISPS 276 at dismissal. I just happened to be going back to an appointment in a car. And it was ridiculous because that's a narrow road, one way, parking, traffic going each direction. And there were cars piled up, double parked in front of the school to pick up their kids, whatever else. You could not get by except to go with one-way traffic, it's fine, it's not that busy. But kids were talking out in the middle of the park, it was a nightmare. And I had not known that, and I don't know if I noticed it, walking, and my kids were not there. They used to be not there. Anyhow, all of that said, I need help in the South to come do this because we need people, and we should talk about it.
I'm not volunteering. To walk through with Jimmy and Betty.
And Betty, well, Betty, we aren't talking about the South, but maybe we can put there are. They want to do a book and more, and they're going to love with something, but we got to do the South. Okay, next. Monthly reports, the link to news report. And then the last thing I would say is that Patrick Murphy from Allied Universal came in. I finished this. He said the guy, the individual passed away in Rector Park.
On the bench, the hummus.
I'm done.
Okay.
Last name.
Thank you. Okay, quality of life is next. We have two subcommittees. Can I have one here? Thank you. I'm late. Stand up. Can you hear me? Sure. I have a pretty loud voice. So quality of life has two subcommittees. We have housing
and we have hospitals. So Jill is going, and health and hospitals. The Jill is the time is our housing specialist is going to talk about the red zone. I'm just gonna make it very brief and we're gonna vote.
Really brief. So hi, everybody. This is a topic that was touched on last time, and that is this state legislature is in the process of finalizing a budget. And the purpose of this resolution is to show our strong support for increasing tenant protections. And specifically, we're addressing the unmitigated rent increases. There are the market renters that have really there's no protections for them. And so this is causing further destabilization. People are losing their homes. People feel like they're, a sword over their head. They don't know what their next increase is going to be. They're pulling kids out of school.
It says that.
Yeah, so it says all of those things, and all we're really basically asking is that they prioritize tenant protections in the upcoming budget.
And let me just say one other thing. So there is the bill that they're talking about the language has not been finalized. And so we are just making a resolution that's general language about rent protections.
Yes,
That's it.
exactly.
All right, let's vote.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, I mean, you did say that this has no specific, the bill doesn't have, you don't have a language in the bill, but you want to say that you want to have rent protections?
Yes. So, yeah, because.
Your language, Eric, did you want to friendly amendment or what?
Yeah.
The concern is, I mean, because it says could cause eviction, but this is a lease is and the tenants. I mean, I think the government should be there to ensure that you have reasonable clauses and that provisions of both sides are protected, but when it has a good cause eviction, it's private property. Where does the government come in telling who can be leasing this property?
There's a reason we made reference to good cause eviction, and we're not going to necessarily get into those details, but the details of having a certain protection so that there's it could be any rent increase. The language that the state Senate uses is the language that we used, which is in accordance or with protections that safeguard unchecked rent increases. So I'm going to assume that unchecked rent increases is something that.
Yeah, but you have languages like.
I have a concern with the general, I mean, first of all, I mean, thank you for pointing out that it's not based on specific language of the bill, but I'm against, I have concern against the main statement of it saying that could cause eviction and check rent increase. I mean, as long as it's within the confines of the lease, when it gets renewed, that's between the landlord and the proposed tenant.
But that's it. Some, in the confines of the lease, sometimes they come back and they want to increase it 20% when that makes it impossible for the tenant to pay a new rent. There should be something reasonable. There should be reasonable increases.
It's fair for you to disagree with that, and don't think that's a good idea.
I want to add the point that there are other costs. How do we know what is reasonable when there's other costs? You got capital increases, you have maintenance.
That's up for the state legislature. Yeah.
1 minute, Eric, your minute is up. Please sit down. Justine, you're next. Jill, it's 1 minute per speaker, and we're gonna be here till midnight.
Sounds good.
Okay. The full name of the bill is, I mean, I know we don't have the full language for the new iteration of the bill, but it is a prohibition against eviction without good cause. That's a friendly amendment that you get the name in full right. But then the second piece of it is, to answer you, Aaron, is it is something that caps, I believe they're talking about 5% cap, maybe up to 10% cap. Yeah, right now.
3% for 1 year and 5% for 2 years.
The assembly is, they're fighting it back and forth. Our assemblyman, Charles Ball, is fighting it back and forth because he also represents Staten Island. And there are a lot of small, apartment building owners there that are concerned with the same reasons that you brought out. So what they're trying to do is make it more reasonable and more fair to address the concerns that you're raising, and they're negotiating. So that's why when it says you don't have it yet, it's been nothing agreed upon, because they're trying to, suck it out.
And I'm glad it's a cap, it's that if you go above that, then.
Okay, Gil, stop. Sorry, I'm resetting. Mr. Capel is dropping officially for attendance. Thank you.
Yes, so I kind of agree with Harry. What I'm against is that, we don't put reasonable increase and good cost inflation together. I think these are separate issues. The good cost equation, they kind of things two ways. So we know we have a spoiler problem, right? So you have I'm sure you read the news. Like, she came home and they got killed by 3 spoilers. I think we want to prevent abuse.
Take out those costs.
So I think, when you say that it's a proper cost equation, unless I know what detail,
What was the beginning?
the cost needs. It's not, which is separate.
Okay.
Reasonable pricing.
It's not,
Like,
it's
for
a
example,
prohibition against
Right.
no, what I'm saying is,
unreasonable.
for example, when you have a lending, you have reasonable interest. Then you have conservative laws
Okay, but did you hear?
against like 50% interest.
But
We're gonna change
That's the
it.
kind of separate things that you can pay or not.
Okay, we're changing it to the prohibition against, go ahead.
Eviction without good cause.
Okay.
The way that it's presented as the law, it's one of the pieces of affordability. And what they're looking to do is try to prevent the 50 and 60 or 75% rent increases in market rate apartments. That is what's happening in Manhattan, in New York City.
Let's
Talking about,
All right, just the.
sorry.
It's just one of the costs, right? So I mean, there are many.
No, you can't.
stop. We're not debating this at the full board.
Okay.
You need to go to the committee meeting to have the work done. The wording was changed pursuant to where you asked, okay? Next, I believe it's Morton,
All right.
and then Mark.
There are so many market rate apartments in our district, in our community, that were deregulated at market rates, and they've increased in the rentals over 30 years with various percentages. And now, on top of that, there's a rash of buildings where landlords are asking for, as you said before, 10%, 15%, 20% on top of the market rates. And it's really putting the affordability of our community at risk. And part of the good cause eviction proposal was that there's a cap, but it's not a unflexible cap. If the landlord is going to ask for a higher rate than the good cause eviction bill would allow, he has to justify it so that the cost or something, or other than his desire to get more money is the reason for this bargain.
Thanks, Morton. Can we?
Thank you, Morton. Your minute is up. Next is Mark Amaruso.
There's a lot of problems with cloud development, but this is just one example of that. The way we're debating this, it's in, they haven't written the legislation yet. They're debating about the bathroom, and it's gonna be in the budget. Fundamental changes, the things that happen in the state, to be debated in a committee where people can show up and testify, not done in the back rooms, in a budget. And all sorts of things like just pricing, everything that's being passed that makes fundamental changes to the state is done without input from experts and people from the public. And this is just a perfect example of it. If we want to make implements to this, or we can tackle it another time. Because we're sitting here, banging heads against the wall, not knowing what the hell we're talking about, because we don't know what they're gonna decide up there in Albany, in the back room. And so this is a fundamental problem that we need to address, and every community board needs to address.
We don't.
Thank you, Mark.
But let's.
Thank you, Mark.
You can vote it up or vote it down.
Exactly.
No, I.
The question's been called, the question's been seconded. Thank you very much for Alice, Christine, and Pat. So we're gonna vote by acclamation.
And I think this is the, yeah, okay, great. So, are there any, again, we're assuming you're a yes. Are there any no's? Okay, so we go around the room, we're gonna point at you, you will say your last name and your vote.
Oh, June, no.
June, no.
You vote no.
You vote no.
Hey, no.
Lynn, no. Are there any other no's in the room? Chapman votes no. Are there any no's online? Okay, are there any abstentions in the room? Sung abstains. Kay abstains. And Maruso abstains.
Zelter abstains.
Zelter abstains. Are there any abstentions online? Thank you, hearing none. And are there any recusals? Fantastic, motion passes.
Okay, because of time, I'm gonna quickly go through 110 William Street. They're gonna come back to us. We've asked them, we don't like their proposal. It affects 4 residents, 4 buildings, residents on John Street. We want them to take out the demolished debris on William Street. And also, if they take out the debris on John Street, it is probably going to close the coffee shop that is located here by the MTA station. So they have to go back to the drawing board and come back to us with a new proposal. The health and hospital issue, we had a guest who came to speak about part of it was about the closure of Beth Israel. You heard from the elected representative, that is still being debated, how much of Beth Israel will close. We talked a little bit, Tammy asked about how the ambulances, if it does close, what ambulance routes they'll take to get down to downtown. I always call it downtown Beekman, it's downtown Presbyterian now, but I don't know. So, anyway, that is an ongoing topic about the closure of the hospital and how it's going to affect Presbyterian. We also, the representative said that Presbyterian is actually thinking about possibly opening another facility. So if anyone has any ideas on space where they might be able to open another hospital downtown. Well. Hey, we need to get on with the thing. All right, that's a topic that we will continue to discuss. The main topic we had, as many of you know, was about and again, it is spoken about by the elected officials. Councilmember Marte attended our meeting. He's been very, helpful in getting it addressed. Is the Chongpok wall that had further damage to it. Evidently, it was damaged before, but not as severely as it has been damaged since the deconstruction. They were not able to really see the full damage until the adjoining wall of the north tower came down. Why are you shaking your head now? So they've had a partial work stop in the immediate area where the wall is located. They're going to, it's tarped, and they're working on is up. They will be evaluating how they're going to fix the damage to the wall. In the meantime, we've asked for HEPA filters for all of the residents in the building. As many of you know, it is a senior housing building, and it has a nursery school. And it also had a medical facility, pediatric medical facility. They have taken it upon themselves to move out, but hopefully they'll be reimbursed by the city. That's it. So again, we will hear more information as it unfolds. That's it.
Okay, any questions for Pat? Moving on, since there are no questions for Pat, moving on to the next.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, sorry. No, gotta say. Gotta thank people. Andrea, thank you for. Jared has worked with us, and Jared's gonna work with us again next month. I need some volunteers for food, please. I can't get people.
Coffee of the snacks, so thank you very much. All right, next is Patrick Cannell and land use.
Hey, everybody. Happy spring. Pretty straightforward land use meeting this month. We had one resolution, 105 Duane Street has come back to us to renew a special permit that they originally applied for in 2019. That resolution contained an approval with 2 conditions. But because of COVID and whatnot, the building owner was unable to get the construction started and the special permit lapsed. They've come back to us with no change in the facts, except that they have addressed one of the conditions that we raised in our original resolution. And there was a fair bit of back and forth, but the committee came to an approval with certain conditions that are pretty specific to the design changes that you see in the resolution. So that's it. And if anybody has any questions.
I have one question in the room. You need to go to the mic.
Wonder on all these things, I think, in the things that we discussed in the meeting, there's just 2 possible oversights, but we will kind of put on anything on page 2, or the 3rd, that will be resolved. So the way what you wrote, where it reads that the movable seating is not out after hours, or that is not placed below residential windows after hours. I think we kind of, there's a few other people here that can read that, the movable seating is not placed below the residential windows, but on the opposite side of the plaza, on the Pinnacle Street side, and then separately, it's not out in general hours. And, I think, Jess, is, familiar with that space, and so it's kind of all with that, the movable seating is not out after hours, nor placed below residential windows, but on the opposite side of the plaza. It's a very small plaza, and where they want to put the table and chairs is right adjacent to residence windows, where they can just put it a few feet away. So if that's okay, Patrick, that's what we.
You know, Mitch, it's exceptionally hard to hear online because of the acoustics in the room there. But if you can, I think I got what you're saying, and it's just to massage the language of number 3 a little bit more in line with what you were saying at the meeting. I'm sure that's fine. I tried my best there, but if you can give the language to Mimi to read out loud, I think that would help.
And I think I'm over, just a second. On page 5, I think we got the CD1 that expressed concern over relocating the bike rack onto the sidewalk, which is very, well, and so it was basically moving to another location. But because there are no other locations, and just to let, remember, it was because of the Democratic city.
Mitch, let me just, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but let me just help you out. I think you're looking at the 2019 resolution that we attached to the original resolution to our current one, just for context. And I think that's what you're looking at.
Did you put that the bikes would be left where they were because there was no complaints for the last 32 years?
I think of the resolution now, we're not commenting on it one way or another.
Supporting attached to the current one.
Okay, so the bikes will stay where they are.
Yeah, we're just not commenting on it one way or another. That was the sense of the committee at our meeting.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so with those things, we're gonna do a vote by information as we have before. All right, are there any opposed to the resolution? Seeing no opposition, either on, anybody online opposed? Paul, if your camera on, please. Are there any abstentions? Seeing 0 abstentions, are there any abstentions online? Are there any recusals? Fantastic, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Patrick. Sorry you couldn't make it, and next committee. All right, this is transportation. Dr. Betty Kay, take it away.
First one is the Washington Market Street Market School. The road progress, the next one is the Washington Market School. They funds that. This is an annual event. We have not had complaints about those in the past. We do want to the next one, but yeah, I think it's also, this is still just that we support them basically action department to close the street. As long as they work, go back. As long as they work with friends at Wayne Park. Keep in mind that Carrie did the thing in front of Wayne Park is on the transportation committee and was very supportive of this resolution. Are there any questions?
Oh, you want to take them together, they're non-controversial?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one then is I mentioned the Santa Park Day Run Walk, again, an annual event. One month because of their pre-calculated time. The biggest most of the sound production I'm gonna be tough. My building's probably the closest one to me. It is. Route has not changed. It's always like my application here. The streets are always artificial. It's on that means as well as now we have the project. Here they go up to the Brent Street where they turn.
Almost impossible to hear.
On the sidewalk, they're moving only in one direction, because on the street, they don't have to turn around. And then it's very good last year, their is out, that he hasn't support their activity and it's coming, and the people who come here are the same ones as last year. They warn the people by running the closure, the characters, and like, as well as, you know, I think we're going to do so. But I said, the new change that it's new plan for this year to do right, and that I'm activity forward.
Then my only comment, this is at the end of the Passover period this year. So I would, where you have specifically that flyer and communication you put out well in advance of the event, since they are closing the street. During times that potentially people will be returning from also public school break, is that they do, required to do outreach directly to the residential buildings along the route prior to April 22nd.
Which is the start of Passover.
Which is the start of Passover and the start of school breaks. So all the buildings that, for example, are around the school are populated, so I would prefer only to wait in advance. I would say the prior to April 22nd, which is a week before.
Great, I think that.
I mean, that was great. Do you want to try for a third, or you want to just take these two together?
So I think these two together, inflation and then.
Okay, so we're going to take these two together. Do I have any questions in the room?
What do you do, clarify?
The two activities, the Washington Market and Run Location. So taking those together, we'll go ahead and look for acclamation. Do I have any in opposition? On the resolution? Seeing none in the room, hearing none online, do I have anybody abstaining from either resolution? Seeing none, do I have anyone recusing? Motion's passed unanimously. Betty?
I'm going to piece of legislation. First one here is 24. That's it, not the number in 20. But this is committee that comes for 2 days of the term. You get worded here, but reality is, right now, and when they talk about flooding the curve, the street vendors have to do it. It's already being approved by both and enforced by the benefits, part of the benefits, 18 minutes, not truly. This is 24 inches, and the rationale is the safety of the vendors and their step on parts. We're going to step into the street, continue to be content. It's not important stuff in here, is that you can be, if there are any there obstructions on the sidewalk, front of the obstructions, which raises many issues, partly because we're going to take the next slide, so that I have business. It's very good.
Go back one, to there you go, illustrations on.
Everybody call, some of the obstruction, I think they have such as bridge, such as bus stop. So it's space, the function of those obstructions and uses. And this legislation does not include any of it. This legislation also only puts the distance from the building. It doesn't include any obstruction between the building and the all to the path to walking lane. Means all of the cafes that was found as the footage that walk there. Demo, we didn't exclude that as something that should count into space. Rather than the count as usable space for vendor position. So the rest comes here was.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's hard to be distance.
Do you want me to give you the resolutions? You can have them too. Oh, wait, no matter community board one opposes intro 24-2024, the local laws will amend administrative code to be near the city, and make street vendors and place their card as close as possible to any obstruction that's in or on the sidewalk. As currently written, it will allow vendors and customers to be in pedestrian walk lanes in clear and defined by recreation and unacceptable situation. Well, the city will encourage amendments to 0024-2024 for the rest of the term of the above. Actually, I think it's close in line with maybe lighting.
Yeah.
It's intended, but think about what we're talking about. It's clear path. So on one side, no sidewalk happening, the other it squeezes into the end of clear path. So CP1 encourages, I would say demands amendments to it.
Yeah.
But, well,
Yeah.
Demand. Yeah.
Because putting up there, a whole lot of other things connected to the
Yeah, that's fine.
I promise. That should be decided.
Okay. Do I hear anyone asking for anything? I hear a call to question and
Second.
Fantastic. All right, so we'll go by acclamation. Do I see anybody in opposition? Grace, Grace, is no. Pardon?
We didn't want to remember.
No, this is only on the sidewalk. So. You're fine. So Grace is no. Gotcha. Do I hear any of the no's in the room? Any no's online? Are there any abstentions?
Zelter abstained.
Zelter abstains. Hearing no other abstentions in the room, the abstentions online? Any recusals? Motion passes.
The last one goes. Yeah, the DOT was passed in January 3rd this year, getting them in the law, the book regulated it. And it was out for support for doing it. For poor guys to do something. But anyways, legislation kind of works all that, except, you can see if it's tempted to make better. When they're talking about, you can't then cheaper, because the new laws have to put in Canada. Not the worse than that. It's saying that there needs to be 20 vendors on the bridge, and they have to be there at least wide. Sounds great, except there's no enforcement. I think it's already said that. Public sanitation, that they already can't go out there along the bridge and enforce those things. And then the three preventing permits not include location. So everybody claims we just went out in the first place and made the DOT change the rule to call them. So while the intent I think is very good, it's just not wonderful. So we looked at the various points. Almost I would be interested. Public sanitation, which is other than doing enforcement was against it. The NYPD was against it, saying the correction was a problem. They have already closed the bridges, pedestrian counts are so high, they don't need it. In fact, we looked at and DOT numbers, the number of pedestrians and we have doubled. With the chief in 2025. I think the numbers are really quite top. About 14 to 20,000.
Okay, so you actually have people go and call the question in a second, so I'm.
We ain't gonna keep going, yes.
This is good. Talking to a room that enjoys.
Agrees with you, this was great.
This is, unless I'm reading the room incorrectly, but I still have it around the table. So let's do.
So, yeah, there's
Been
no
on
much.
all.
Second.
So it will be a vote by affirmation on any opposed to this. Any other notes in the room? Hearing no other notes, are there any notes online? Are there any abstentions in the room? Seeing no abstentions, are there abstentions online? Motion passes, thank you very much, thank you, Betty. All right, next committee, licensing. Francis, you're right. More than.
First principle. She wants to be seen.
Whatever you like.
Okay, guys, here it comes. Licensing at one point started out to be. COVID, and we have all these other rules and all this other stuff that's been put into the whole process, and it's getting very, very difficult, confusing, and frustrating to deal with the different levels, assessing the approval of the license, and all the aspects. It's just becoming difficult committing to deal with. Susan and I would do our best to represent. And so this first, okay, so the first thing is the DOT dynamic program, I would say. So, when we get applications, they come in several different categories. We either have renewals, we have first time, people that want to get first time licenses. We have corporate changes, we have location changes, and we have to go through each one of those aspects. And going through that, it's very complicated because with this now, with this, the sidewalk cafe versus the roadbed and the time for this and the time for that. So every month we get a couple of applications that are for renewals. These are people that are already, businesses that are already going forward. And if they haven't had any, complaints in the community, people aren't there to object to them. We usually go ahead and approve the renewal for them. We go ahead and approve for them to be renewed, with the SLA. Sometimes there's a problem because the community say they didn't honor the stipulation that they agreed to, for. And then there are other times when, the owner, the establishment comes and they want different hours. They want to be, we told them they could have until 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning because of COVID and we weren't making enough money. All these different excuses. So anyway, so what we decided to do was to group all of the renewals into one category. And that's what was first claims and all these places that are listed. It's
if you read it, it's self-explanatory, they all agree to the terms, in terms of the hours, because now.
So are you taking all the removals together? Is that what you're doing, is one of those?
Yeah, with the dining program, the hours, we have to, they have to have specific hours because.
Oh, you're talking about the first resolution, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, wait, call the question. Yeah, let's vote. Let's vote on that one.
So is this saying that, in the future, we'll never approve, an application for dining?
I didn't get that last one.
It says, so it says, that's what we resolve, we want to vote for granted, then in future on licenses, outdoor licenses. Is that any outdoor license?
I still didn't get it.
They're DOT rules.
There be other rules?
Well, they're DOT hours, yeah.
So, okay, so we're just read it.
And SLA rules, you have to change them. You have to balance it out.
That's where it becomes
Yeah.
very.
Outdoor dining does not go till 2 in the morning, Jess, I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering, because that's a strong position you're going to take, but if that's the rule, that's the rule. Okay, it also says 11 PM Friday and Saturday.
Outside.
That out road and roadbed, so you're closing out on the.
10 o'clock, and they can't serve Sunday, you can't bring liquor outside, they can't go inside, buy a glass of wine and go outside and sit and drink it. So.
Okay.
Quality of life, quality of life.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little complicated, because, I mean, you read it, you go have the time, okay, it's not anyway. Do anybody have questions altogether? Any other questions?
Fantastic, we'll take this one solo. Going by affirmation, are there any no's, names? Are there any no's, no no's, and no abstentions? Hearing none online, motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, I think we can take all the rest of them together, because basically they're all new applications, changes of operation, method of operation, name changes, corporate changes.
Let's see if you have,
Awesome.
do you have any questions on any application or resolution beyond the first one for all the areas, because we are going to take them all bundled together.
111 Green Street?
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, I take it back, we need to take 100, do we want to take 100 seater separate, or leave that the way it is? All right, that's the one to do. Do you have?
Question, this 111 Green Street, they're withdrawing their application?
Yeah.
That they,
We don't know what.
you wanted them to do, and they didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine.
But I think they're coming.
So we wanted to put it in writing.
They may do that next time.
That's fine.
You know,
Just wanted to make sure I read it right.
Any other questions for any other applications? In the packet, anybody online have any questions? Are there any motions in the room?
Call the question?
Oh, so the question is called and seconded by the team, thank you. So we're gonna take them all together. All right. Are there any oppositions to any of the resolutions and licensing? You're a no for that? You're opposed to that? Which one? One time you could see it. It's opposed. Are there no for that space? Are there any those online?
No. I have just a question. Did they sign the stipulation? It says they agreed to, did they?
Which?
100 seater. The last whereas says the applicant has agreed to sign and notarize the stipulations document.
Oh, and shall they sign? We're still waiting on it.
Oh, so both contracts. So then it's, so then I make it a no.
Thank you. That's not.
Hold on. So if 100 seater has not signed the stipulation, co-chair, and we'd like to table that one until they do and have it come back.
Yeah, I think so. Let's have it come back.
Which one?
100-seater?
So we're going to vote on everything except for 100-seater, because they have not signed their stipulations, and we will ask them to come back.
Thank you.
We have to vote to table on that one, so we're in the middle of the vote for the others. We're pulling up 100-seater, so everything is without 100-seater. So Mark, you're voting, hang on a second, we're gonna do it without 100-seater.
62, William also says they're.
It's 61. 61 cents a time.
Okay.
I'm sorry, let's shortcut this. Has everyone else signed their stipulations? I'm missing any.
I think the only one that I haven't gotten back yet is 126 Chambers, but I should get that this week.
126 Chambers? What about 100 seater? That one too.
100-seater, we're gonna table. Table that.
They know they're different. And 126 Chambers?
What's up with 126 Chambers?
Oh, it's still, oh, that's a corporate change, so.
It's a full liquor license resolution.
Yes.
Oh, it's a corporate change for 126.
So that's like nothing.
Yeah.
Alright, so for everything except for 100-seater, do I have any opposition? Do I have any abstentions? Do I have anybody online? So everything passes unanimously except for 100-seater, for which point we now have a motion to table, which we need to take vote. So this is a motion to table until we get a signed stipulation from 100-seater.
Was there
Was that?
Listen, Rick, it was, and Marcus was first and second by Matt. All right, so all in favor to table 100-seater? Okay. Are there any no's? Are there any abstentions?
Wait.
Nipsley abstains from 100-seater. Tabling, that's fine. Are there anybody else online who is a no or an abstention to table 100-seater? Hearing none. Mark, you had your hand up.
Just remind her to please notify us.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely notify the SLA. All right, thank you so much on this. Please notify the SLA to be on record for 100-seater that we are working on that thing and we ask them to come back. Motion passes unanimous. Except for Mr. Minsley, who would say. All right, Francis, anything else? Yeah, love the Francis. Thank you. Miss Blank.
Oh, God.
Okay, so, or then we'll probably just go through these. So we had a 3.5 hour meeting with, about 120 slides. This is a lower Manhattan Coastal Resiliency update. I'm gonna go through just some slides and key in a couple of slides. Well, wait a minute. Okay, well, that is the timeline. You want to go over the hand, so just like this, like the number. Oh, it's an automatic.
Oh, just 10 minutes.
Okay, so next, here we are, well. So that is something familiar to all, that is basically the territory, nothing in that has changed. And this is a $1.7 billion investment, of which different assets have been, had not been spent. Go ahead. Okay, the timeline in front of you, and the earliest ones we finish will be the battery, and the South Battery Park is early as mid-2025. And last, Friday, next. So we started with Battery Park City Authority. They came and gave a very good presentation for what they call regions 2, 3, and 4, which translates to the North Esplanade and Chambers Street, Rockefeller Park, and the terminal, the ferry terminal area. Next one. This is the North Esplanade. Basically, the red line is the flood barrier system up against the school, and we're looking at the pathway. The challenge here is, of course, to get bikes and people moving, well along the, working on it. Next slide. They gave a palette. The first 5 slides on the right are what is existing. There on the last 5 are the concrete seating and the wood benches and the metal edges and the combination of wood and concrete. And these are all new to the palette, and
people had different opinions on it. We will be summarizing this in an upcoming resolution. And we welcome everyone's thoughts on that. Next one. This is perspective of the west along the Esplanade. You see the seating, concrete benches with wood top and the flooring materials. Resilient flooring materials. Next slide. This is a perspective looking east. You'll see the metal edging, again, the same floor and same seating. Next slide. This is on page 2, or sorry, page 3. This is the Rockefeller Park playground and ball courts. Next slide. Ball courts, earlier plan, they had to amend because of the seating you see on the left. Next slide. And had to do a monolithic kind of concrete seating with benches for various things that include accessibility and trees. Next slide. Saving trees. This slide shows their attempt to save slide. So the pink are the impacted trees that would have to be removed, and the green are existing. And they heard loud and clear from many of the community that they wanted to save more trees. So next slide. In order to do this, they have to move the flood barrier system in 3 feet into the park. Well, now people begin to object. They don't want to eat away into the park and go to the other direction and take away from the street, which seemed like we're being hopefully will be somewhat explored. This is a 40% design management that you do, but I assume they need back that's for something. Next slide. This was for the Lily Pond, Irish Criminal area and the Ferry Criminal area. Next slide. So here's the red line again is the flood barrier system, and you'll see that these are 25-foot floodgates, but you don't have to read that far away, but the holes, they sort of close in on the floodgate, and these are up against, you can see the edge that we're closest to, and you'll think that after Ferry Terminal. Next slide. This is looking down, if you're in some building, looking down at the Lily Pond. A lot of people really saw that as sacred ground, not to change the Lily Pond Park, so they did their best not to do that. And you know, we particularly kind of like thinking that we'll try to hide these huge flood walls. The white one you see closest in front here is again with a very large light gray 25-foot piece that would be undeployable. Next slide. This is existing Wolf Hunter Memorial at Lily Pond. Next slide shows you the proposed. You can see the views are cut, you know, you will have corporate walls in front of you, but they do their best to try to incorporate the significant landscaping features and such. Next slide. This is the view to the south of the existing, looking on the upper path of the Esplanade. And this will be the proposed. You see the top of the wall at the left. The wood seating, slightly narrower path, height berms that are incorporated into this landscape. Next slide.
Sorry, how many more slides do we have?
Okay, I can stop. I can stop. There are probably like another 20. It's all I got word and, you know, it goes on. I did it in exactly 14 minutes, and there were 37 slides, so I'm happy to stop. You can go online and view it online. Thank you. If you want to.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a resolution
Wait,
next month.
yeah.
We're doing a resolution next month. We're just gonna quickly slide through with that explanation. This is the battery, the current of the battery. The National Park Service intends to demolish. Here, Alice, keep going real quick.
Either we do it or we don't. Well, there you go. Go. Financial district plans, nothing that you have seen before here. March 28th, a large workshop on energy sustainability, Thursday, next slide. Seaport resiliency by Seaport is in the square down underway now, and Chuck getting selected and they design fee at this point for the Seaport resiliency plan. That's one theme. Seaport, at the end, the design fee selected and that's the most resiliency, their walls, these for something you go walk by.
And that's what we like.
And I think that's it. So yeah, I would encourage you to come to the next meeting. We should opine because we will do a resolution in April on the Battery Park City plans. So if you have thoughts on these, please let us know. Okay.
I just want to make a comment. I feel neglected every time I come to your committee and I look at all the wonderful stuff that they're doing in Battery Park City and all over there, and then they get right up to Peck Slip and it's blank. And I heard you, they're working on a design team and so forth, but we've had all these many months, heard nothing.
Yes, how we.
They just announced, we just announced federal funding for these. Come to the meeting.
Just one quick comment to the Battery Park City Committee. This is Battery Park City, the beginning part. Pay attention. It's a lot to do in the north and we need to weigh in. So thank you.
And the resolution will be done next month.
Yeah, so yeah, like.
Yeah.
Tricia, you're the last resolution of the night. Take us home. And this will be roll call.
Consider them have a chance to read this incredibly long resolution. And in fact, we can sort of summarize it, but we are really just passing what's proven in that really consider if you don't know. She has been advocating for smaller class sizes probably for 20 years. As long as when my kids were 5, she was really at the helm, going to the meeting every month. I mean, relentlessly putting pressure on it. I would actually attribute the governor's decision to finally make it law pretty much all to her. So anyway, the problem with the mandate is that it costs money. And the funding stream was never well timed. The state has agreed to work with the city in terms of funding and support the city cut education budgets. And so they're trying to themselves this law without any money. And so the upshot of this resolution is to capture the statistic for how non-compliant our schools are a year and a half into this law. We're at about 21% schools are compliant, which is terrible. It looks like it's going to be even lower next year. And it's a very complicated issue too, because to lower class sizes, it can mean that schools have lower capacity. So if you look at high schools, middle schools, that are schools that our kids want to go to, it could mean that there are less seats in the school. So we, it's a very difficult situation to deal with, but the goal is to reduce class sizes because it's the #1 request by all families on the survey. It's been proven to increase outcomes. There's just no reason not to do it, and now it's a law, so they have to do it. So that's what this is about, and also there's a clause about creating more transparency. There is something worrisome that I will call out that I saw this year, and normally with the 5-year capital plans, which is how the DOE builds these all our schools, they look 5 years into the future. They usually at least attribute a certain amount of seats to certain districts, and they didn't do that this year. So there isn't any transparency in this capital plan, so we're going to be going after that at the resolution next month. But Lady captured that here as well. So we were voted unanimous on supporting this resolution. Not today.
I have a second.
We have a question.
How can we get these teachers to get paid more?
I mean,
Sounds.
the fact that they are continuing to cut education budgets when we have the outcomes that we do in the city, it's so shameful. I really just, personally, I'm shocked at what we've been dealing with and looking at the impact, on, I would say 90% of our schools, because some schools can fundraise themselves into hiring a good amount, not teachers, but they can hire everybody else, which makes it possible to spend more on teachers. So some schools that have very vibrant PTAs that raise a lot of money can actually spend more on teachers, which is a horrible thing that happens in schools. And it's like the dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about. But there are teachers being paid a lot of money. And the thing is, there's no equity with it whatsoever. And it is shameful. And until the budgets are increased and we have gotten to a place where the funding that we receive from the city and the state are the same across all of our schools, the spending power is the same. I mean, that to me is the first order of business. And then from there, there will be a better supply and demand to be able to then raise the teacher salaries. But the fact that they're cutting budgets when the teachers haven't gotten raised, we have schools who have no libraries, no science labs, no art classes, you know, I've been at this since what, 2008? And we've only pushed this needle like this far. And, you know, it's really discouraging, I would say.
We live in a world.
And we do, and we're in these neighborhoods where, you know, our schools fundraise, and it's, you know, living in talk about, obviously. We even tried to partner with other schools, give them to share PTA levels, that they would have more opportunity for chosen resources.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry to say. Okay, so do we have any other questions? Seeing none, we're gonna do this roll call. Again, don't move the chairs until we're done, so we can hear everybody and everybody in line. Thank you, and hang on. Oh, wait.
We don't have to move the chair, we don't have to move the table, but we this whole and give knowledge.
Okay, so for the record, we do not have to move chairs, and we do not have to move table, but as Lucy had requested, please throw away your garbage.
Wait to throw away your garbage and don't make it go.
On, do not move.
Do that.
Stay seated until everybody has voted. Period.
Avoid. It's not like anything about it. You do get up.
Don't.
I'll probably shame you. Amaruso.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, weird.
Sorry. No. We're good.
Blank.
Blank.
Brown Kennedy. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell.
Cassell, yes.
Thank you. Chang. Thank you. Turkey.
Yes.
Thank you. Coleman.
Yes.
Thank you. Foreman.
Goes, yes.
Thank you. Kuchar.
Kuchia votes yes.
Thank you. Curtis. Curtis votes yes. Thank you. Aaron.
Airman votes yes.
Thank you. Oh, Flynn, yes. Forsberg.
Forsberg, yes.
Thanks. Friedman. Roman.
Roman, you have.
I'm afraid just do this. Galloway.
Galloway, yes.
Thanks. Goldstein. Goldstein. Good time.
Good kind, yes.
Thanks. Grayson. Goldstein. Joyce. Fisher. Thanks. Jude.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay. Thanks. No.
Canal, yes.
Yes.
Thanks. Melissa. Would you like to vote, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Lynn?
Yes.
Thanks. Lyon?
Line, yes.
Thanks. Melcher?
Yes.
Minsley?
Inslee, yes.
Yeah. Shandia?
Yeah, yeah.
Torres? All right. Robinson?
Robinson, yes, to smaller classrooms.
Shear? All right.
Classroom smaller.
Barrison?
Hey, 4 months though.
Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you. You?
You votes yes.
Thanks. Zelter?
Zelter, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Andrea,
Thank you very much, everybody. And have a great-
Au revoir.
I mean,